Every playoff game right here. Your home for Boston Celtics basketball. WBZ FM and HD1 Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
After a night off, the Celtics will once again attempt to extend their season when they visit the Knicks for Game 6 of their second-round playoff series. The Green are down 3-2. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7:30 and the tip-off at 8 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Jason Tatum is the only player listed on the Celtics injury report. In other team news, the Boston Globe was the first to report yesterday that the sale of the Celtics to a group led by William Chisholm has been finalized. It now only needs to be approved by the other team owners. Out west, Denver forced a Game 7 with Oklahoma City late last night with a 119-107 home win. Red Sox had last night off after a 2-4 road trip through Kansas City and Detroit. They're back home to play Atlanta tonight, and it'll be the pitching matchup of the season. Garrett Crochet will oppose defending National League Cy Young Award winner and former Sox ace Chris Sale. Patriots defensive lineman Christian Barmore told the media yesterday he's been cleared medically for football activity this spring. He's expected to be ready for week 1. And in golf, 40-year-old Jonathan Vegas of Venezuela fired a 7-under 64 yesterday. He's got a 2-shot lead heading into today's second round of the PGA Championship. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit CatchesLaw.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
New England plays here.
Ball down the right side. There's a separation. Yeah. Touchdown pass. Yes. Perfect dive from Drake May.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
When has that been necessary to fact check?
and Hardy
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
on 98.5.
Hey there.
Sarge GPT booting up.
Let me hear you say, boo, boo, boo.
Crush me, mommy.
Say my name.
I'm a robot.
I'm the son of the Pope.
I'm a goddamn drag!
Yeah, good luck, dude.
Nothing like a good tushy.
I love you. And I think you know that.
Excuse me?
Toucher and Hardy
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back some fence and having some fun.
on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go. An absolute classic. Classic. 9. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy, Town Fair Tires Studios, 617-779-0985. As always, you can watch the show live on YouTube. If you would subscribe to 98.5thesportshub.com, that would be of a great benefit to us. Apparently. I don't get anything out of it. But when my contract's up in 2.5 years, maybe that I can point to it and I'll go, look.
Well, that requires so much math.
It was my agent's idea, and it was thankfully rejected by management because it seems like it would have been almost impossible. But then again, when I was negotiating, I had no idea what was going on.
What do you need with money anyway?
It was just.
Oh, when
There
was
was a whole. It was during the whole all the stuff. I didn't. But thankfully, thank God, I didn't know anything was going on. So like, I just was just negotiating, and then I agreed to a contract, and then and then as soon as I agreed to a contract, they told me everything that was going on, and I was like, oh.
Did they call you at all during that 4-6 month period, or you just got a phone call when it was over?
Well, I mean, there was like a meeting and all that
Yes,
stuff.
I do.
So I knew that there was trouble afoot, but I didn't know
Sure.
that there was it was as dire as it was. So I didn't. But I thank God that I did not know that, because I didn't. When you don't know about it, it doesn't. It didn't affect anything. It didn't affect my behavior in the negotiation or the show. So it was an ideal situation. But that was a long time ago. All right, a big show on the way today. Albert Breer will be joining us. Cedric Max will be joining us.
Albert Breer here at 7. That's right.
Yeah, at 7 o'clock,
thereabouts.
according to Mike Francesa, who now doesn't have to wait around until 2 o'clock in the afternoon to do his analysis of the games. He can get on right after the game's over.
Instant reaction. That's what everybody wants. Everyone wants instant reaction from the sports pulp.
You know what's going to happen is that in like 5 years, everyone's going to be clamoring again for live shows, because it's because right now everything is just scattered everywhere and taped, and then people listen to it after, and that's impossible, A, to sell as advertising, and then B, it's not nearly as enjoyable. It's enjoyable if it's done really well, but there is something to be said for live programming.
Wait,
and that is my prediction.
Tell me this podcast thing might peter out. I thought it was just gaining traction. I thought everyone was into podcasts. I thought that people wanted to listen at their leisure.
I don't think that podcasts are going to stop being made, but I do think that that the idea, and I don't know how it will be broadcast. I'm not saying it's going to be broadcast over the radio. I'm just saying that people are going to want live, interactive entertainment, audio entertainment.
You're already seeing that trend start, actually, Fred. And to your point, John, we kind of, as far as production of podcasts goes, we've hit that crest.
Yeah.
There are literally, as of a couple of years ago, 1 million podcasts, and I think like over 90% of them, 6 episodes or less, because people would venture into it and they would see that how much work it takes to produce, and they would kind of quit. And then flipping that over to the audience side, the podcasts that are doing the best now, at least from the metrics that I've seen, are the ones that start as live content and then live on as podcasts later on, or podcasts that incorporate some sort of liveness to them, to your point, Fred.
And this is not an opinion. This is just what's going on, is they're impossible to sell.
Yeah, that's true. That's always been true.
And there were broadcasting companies that have made many, many, many mistakes, like getting crazy at the very wrong time and buying a ton of radio stations just in time for it all to correct itself. But there is, in particular, one audio company that went all in on podcasting, and it ended up bankrupting them.
Yes.
Because they went all in on podcasting, they threw all this money at podcasting, and then they went, oh, we can't sell it. And I'm not, and I don't, there are podcasts that, I think when podcasts are done right, unfortunately, they're very time consuming and inexpensive to produce. But when they're done right, they're awesome. And there are talented guys that do normal podcasts too. But, 99.9% of them are awful. But but I do know this, that even the ones, they're hard to sell. Like, they're impossible to sell. That's just a fact. That's not me hating. That's just a fact. And if you want an example of it, what's the thing that's keeping TV alive right now is live sports, because they know they have an audience tuned in at the same time.
Yes. Yep.
So that's attractive to advertisers. And also, I would imagine, even though I haven't heard this now I'm opining, is that the ability to just mindlessly skip the advertising. Like, I know you can change your radio channel, but the chances of you doing that, I think, are a lot less than when you start a podcast and it starts with, hey, guys, da-da-da-da. Then you just, da-da-da-da-da. And for anyone who goes, well, no one hears at radio commercials, finish this sentence, 1877, and there you go. You could do that, because that's now ingrained in your brain, and you will die knowing that song because you heard it on the radio. You will die knowing that song because it was pumped through every speaker.
I mean, yes, but it's not just the song. It was the rock remix that really brought it home.
I don't recall that. Is that something that actually happened?
Oh, yeah.
Just redid it like a couple of years ago.
They've redone it a couple of times. The rock for years, it was just the boom, dum, boom, dum, boom, 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 boom.
Oh, yeah. And then they rocked it out. It was like when the Brady Bunch played rock music. Okay, we get it. We get it. We
don't need that.
No, we're good.
It has the beat to it.
My whole point,
no.
Adam, stop. My whole point was we know it. That was my point. I didn't need that.
just wanted you to hear the version that has a little rock beat to the back.
I
That's not
understand.
the one.
That's not the one.
Oh,
but
it's
I
not. All right,
understand
I'll
it.
go look for the other.
No, don't
Sure?
look for that. Yes,
All right.
I'm absolutely
Okay.
positive.
I have time.
Let them pay for it. They still advertise
Yes.
on this
Yes, they
station,
do.
I'm
Oh, yeah,
sure.
they
So, let them pay for it. Dan. Hello, Dan, as we are on a Friday. Hello, Dan.
Freddie, how are you? I just want to congratulate you. You always have a saying that you say, I wish I loved something that much, like Hardy and golf or watching people fix things. Listening to you when you were talking to Pablo yesterday, it was so joyful. You know when you see somebody get something they've wanted so bad, and it's not over. It's the gift that's going to keep giving. And you were giddy. It was magical how happy you were. So I just want to say congratulations. You found the thing that truly makes you happy.
Thank you. And I do believe, I wish I could go back in time during the Flakegate, and I could have told myself, this will all make up for itself. Go through these hardships now. Mm-hmm. And in 12 years or whatever it is, you'll be repaid.
Do you wish you could also go back in time to like certain moments during this saga, like and see the fisherman mermaid photo for the first time?
No, because so much great stuff is happening on a daily basis.
But the initial joy, I think, came from. I think that was the one.
The first Instagram post, if we must go down memory lane, the first Instagram post was, of course, talking about Belichick, my obsession with his Jordan Hudson. And by the way, it's in the Globe, it's in the New York Times, it's in the Washington Post, it's everywhere today. Not our interview with Pablo Torre, but Pablo Torre is reporting.
No, that interview's at 985thesportshub.com on the Toucher and Hardy page. Thank you very much. Just put it up this morning.
All right, very
and
good.
aggregated a bunch of other stuff that we've been talking about over the course of the story, too. Just wanted to get the plug in. Thank you.
What was I saying? The first when they were at like the corn maze, that was the first time I saw Trouble Afoot. And then
That was your first really big, I don't want to say rant, but that was the first time we were like, all right, what the hell's going on here? What's happening with
because it's never been about the age difference. It's always been about I get it, like you want to have sex with her, and I get it, you want to date her, I guess, but like there is the point where you're starting to. That's when I was like, all right, now he's venturing into stuff like even I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even do this, and it wouldn't matter. I'm just a dumb radio host, but I wouldn't do it for A, B, and C are my kids. But then beyond that, like I just wouldn't want to do it anyway. And so when I saw an old man with so much to lose doing it.
Yeah. Most normal people draw the line at corn mazes, let alone taking a picture at the entrance to one of those things.
Yeah.
And here's Bill Belichick, who's been an ass to a lot of people for most of his life, posing for a picture in front of a corn maze because obviously his girlfriend wanted him to do it. I find that incredible.
I do have a theory now that I might as well get out of the way, is that this is going to end up being a lot more nefarious than any of us think. Because I think that I'm starting to hear things that I think it might be a little bit more nefarious.
Wait,
than we
she's
all think.
using him for something? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I mean, that seems to be like something you could kind of put two and two together
Yeah.
about. But I mean, the way it's being done, I think it could be
Okay.
a little more. But that's just an opinion, given the facts. But I do have in my basement again. I have a big project on the wall where I'm putting things together.
It's like one of those NBC crime dramas where
Yes.
you have the thing, all the
Yes.
arrows between pictures. I got it.
Greg, go ahead, Greg.
So I just have a question about Cars for Kids because, like, you know, they have been around for a while, and I'll die knowing that song. But, I mean, do kids really need cars? Because, like, I've never gotten a car, and, like, you can't even really drive till you're 16, so I don't know why, like, it just doesn't make sense to me, and I've never met anybody that's really even gotten a car for them, and kids can't even drive. So.
What they do is they teach them to fix them. is that they bring them in and then they teach.
Only you
they,
would
they
take
go to
that
elementary
course.
schools and they teach kids how to fix the AC.
Yeah. Well, it's a combination of that, and sometimes they'll just take a car and put it on a playground. Here's your swings. Here's your seesaw. Here's a 77 Nova. Now, they take the gas out. It's not dangerous.
Sure.
But if you want to get in there and flip some of the levers, or you want to pop the hood and tinker around with the air filter, there you go. It's like a big climbing structure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they want it for. Yeah. Is that it's for because they said it's not VOTEC classes, shouldn't just be for high school. They should bring them into the elementary schools. Like they should point to a second grade and go learn a trade.
Yeah.
Johnny, Billy, and Sam, you go to science. Mm-hmm. Kenny, Albert, and William, VOTEC.
Right.
Blind Scott calls in all
good.
the time. Hello, Blind Scott.
Yeah. I heard Felger playing the audio yesterday. I don't know if you guys listened, but I picked up on something that he said that I didn't pick up when I heard Fred interviewing it. He said, like, maybe he knew that Lombardi was involved and he did not care. It was like a really strange comment. Like, I didn't realize that happened, you know?
Sure. I don't know.
Great. Thanks.
Josh, I got a text from a friend of mine during that, so I didn't even hear what he said.
You're good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I didn't even hear what I heard. I know he didn't swear.
No.
So because that
Felger mentioned Lombardi. I don't know.
Yeah, I got a friend of mine texted me about about the Bill Belichick.
I got to tell
thing.
you later my conversation with Felger last night.
Oh.
I'm very worried.
Oh, all right, Josh,
Okay.
go ahead.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing? Did you hear Felger last week called Jordan stunning?
I did not.
Yeah.
I did not hear that.
He went on a bit of a rant. Yeah.
Yeah. He also said that 90 of us go in, she would be the most beautiful person in.
Wait, I didn't. You broke up. What'd you say?
He said 99% of the rooms that we go in, if she was there, she would be the most stunning person.
Oh. And he doesn't
feel?
believe that. He's got a he runs with the Kennedys. I don't think he believes that.
Because they're all such lookers?
No, but I would imagine they attract some.
Yeah. I think his point was anyone who's saying, like, she's ugly, she's
certainly not ugly.
She's not ugly, and she is, okay, by Felger used the word stunning or
That's
beautiful.
like when they called Elaine stunning.
Beautiful, breathtaking.
Breathtaking.
No, of course she's an attractive woman. She's in beauty pageants, and she does all that stuff. Yeah, but you start to try and get inside of, okay, what is it? Is she so undeniably, empirically beautiful that a man like Bill Belichick would essentially hand over his life's work in exchange to be with this person? That's where people start to nitpick.
Or does such a beauty? Well, I think that's misguided, because I don't think such a beauty exists. I think such a beauty exists that you would make a fool of yourself and do things to sleep with them. But I think that after a handful of those times,
Well, Fred, Helen of Troy. I mean,
the siren song of Helen of Troy,
which I only know about from the movie Mask. And Rocky Dennis tells the story of the Trojan horse and Helen of Troy, a faith that could launch 1,000 ships, something like that. Because he's self-deprecating. He doesn't want the class to think he's a total brainiac. I'm cool, something like that. And the sun shining on my face. So that's how I know the story of Helen.
Do you want to hear an interesting thing about Hardy and I?
Sure.
That Hardy and I, despite our differences in our proclivities, this is absolutely 100% positive true. That him and I, without knowing each other, both met the woman that we both feel is the most stunning woman that we've ever seen in our entire life.
Yes.
And we met her before we knew each other.
Yes.
And we didn't know the other one thought the same thing. And what's the name? It's the Playboy.
Victoria Silvstedt.
So I met her.
Basketball.
I met her and Hardy met her, and it was like painful how like it's like even like Hardy, who like doesn't necessarily like that kind of thing, like it's not his like his total vision of beauty. She's so she was so undeniably perfect.
I told her during the interview, and I wasn't married yet at the time. I didn't even necessarily want to be married, but Marcy and I were together. We were dating. I said, what is you have an accent or something. What is your status? Do you need to be married to stay in this country? I will do that for you. I mean, I was losing my mind. It was like hacky and schlocky, but I was being honest. I would have dropped everything just to be with her. And of course, that happened to be like the one day in 25 years of being together that Marcy was listening to the radio. She was like pissed about it because she could tell I wasn't just doing a bit. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Was she dating the guy from Entertainment Tonight when you interviewed her?
No idea.
Yeah, so because I immediately needed to know what was doing. But she was a prostitute? And that is, like, what are you doing to paying for her? Like, she's way, 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 way too good looking. Way, 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 way too good looking. That if I was ever going to get a prostitute, that's way over. That's too much. That's too much. Too much to take. I'd never buy into the fantasy that she liked me. Go ahead.
Divorced in 2009.
Well, I think being the prostitute probably.
Yeah, that probably blew it up. How
hurt
old
her.
do you think she is at this point?
Well, if I'm 50, she's probably 56.
You want to give that a try, Hardmark?
55.
50.
She's my age.
She's 50.
See, I automatically made her older.
September 19th, 1974.
I'm older than her. Oh, no, I'm younger than her. But by a couple months. But I made her older because I felt she was so much better than me. She must be more wise. But that is the one woman that I've met in my life, and it's funny because Hardy feels I don't know if it's the one woman, but for me, it's the one woman that like I would not even have. If she started talking to me, I would have been like, okay.
Yeah.
And I just like wouldn't even want to talk to her.
I'm looking at a picture of her from about 5 years ago. She's still undeniably stunning.
There's no way she's ever going to get ugly. Like, there's no way she's ever not going to look great.
Wow.
There's no way. She could get heavy. She could anything, and she's not going to be unattractive. No. All right. We'll be back in just a moment. Lots of things happened last evening. Ups and downs and all arounds. And we will have that for you in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy.
He's elongating.
Weekday morning.
Here goes Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
The Sports Hub.
Did you catch the game last night?
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lopresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. I was just regaling the fellas with, I saw something yesterday that Ivanka Trump lives on some island off of the coast of Miami. So that's like, no joke. It's out off the coast of a major city. It's its own island. And Tom Brady's on the island too. So we were talking about how exactly did Tom Brady get into that? Mm-hmm. Like, he made obviously a ton of money playing football, but not that type of money playing football. He's acquired so much money, and I know he makes a lot with Fox, but he's only been doing it for a couple years. Like, he's got close to billionaire money, you would think.
Yeah. Giselle must be sending him monthly checks.
Well, now we can only speculate.
Of course, this is all speculation on my part.
We can only speculate. There's no question. All right, what happened last night, Hardy? Are you looking at the house?
Small, undeveloped plot of waterfront land, just 1.84 acres, is on the market on Indian Creek Island. This is from a story in the New York Post in December, okay? So this is just a plot of land, under 2 acres, on the market. How much is the plot of land?
I don't even want to venture a guess. Go ahead.
$200 million.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, my Lord.
So you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like, say Brady made how much did he make? Because I know he took less money. Like, say he made $150 million while he played football, or $200 million while he played football. I mean, we're still talking. I mean, that's still not private island off the coast of Miami with the Trumps. It's apparently a guarded island too. Like, it's armed guards.
Yeah, you can't get on it, off it. You have to live there. There's only a handful of people who live there. Now, Jeff Bezos paid $240 million for 3 properties. So I imagine over 2 acres, you could probably build, 3 or 4 homes if you wanted to.
Or you just multifamily homes.
Yeah, or you do triple deckers.
Yeah.
He's
Put a
making
bathroom in the bedrooms.
$250, $275 total over the length of his Fox broadcasting career. It's according to Forbes, he made a little over $330 million over a 23-year NFL career and $200 million more from endorsements.
Okay.
Total over his 23-year career. So
I mean, he's obviously
that's $500 million without the Fox contract.
Okay. Yeah. So there you go.
All right, I got to stop going down this rabbit hole. Instead, focus on what was happening last night in Game 6 between the Denver Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder in Denver last night.
Murray behind the three-point line, back over to Jokic. Jokic for 3. Yeah! 12-point lead for Denver, their big lead of the night.
Nikola Jokic, who Fred saw in person earlier this regular season, and swears he is not heavy for his height. You say he is, in fact, in shape.
I don't think he's fat by any stretch of the imagination. I think he's well, I know for a fact how he plays. He's got great touch, but he plays with strength. He's stronger than everyone else on the floor.
Husky.
Yeah, but he's not any means fat.
He's not Doncic.
He's not Hot Plate Williams.
Hot Plate Williams.
I mean, Hot Plate Williams was legitimately fat.
That tractor trailer.
Tractor that trailer from Michigan. Yeah.
Yep.
I told you the story about when he came into the sports bar I worked at during Freaknik and fell asleep on the table while they ordered like they ordered a half side of the menu and then wanted to send it all back, and he lit a joint or lit a blunt at the table because he was so out of it. And then I had to get the manager, and the manager's like, "You handle it." And I'm like, "Oh no." I'm like, "Oh no." I'm like, you can fire me right now, dude. I'm not handling this.
The Celtics.
It's Freaknik, Black Spring Break. This guy's huge. He was with like 5 chicks. It was just him and like 5 women. And I'm like, no.
The Celtics were really bad in the mid-'90s. They had this guy, Thomas Hamilton. Thomas Hamilton listed at 7'2", 350. Listed at 350 as a guy who was going to games back then. he was 400 if he was a pound. Come on. Thomas Hamilton, look him up.
Yeah, Jokic is just like he's not cut or anything. He's just like a mound. He's like a power lifter. He looks like a power lifter. You know how those guys aren't cut?
Yeah.
They're not like vascular. They're just like huge.
Yeah.
That's like kind of like what he looks like.
Wow. Yeah. Thomas Hamilton, big fella. All right. So let's go to someone else here from the Nuggets in the fourth quarter last night, hanging on to their lead against OKC.
Gordon peels off to the right wing, throws out of Murray for three. Yes! 11-point lead for Denver, 93-82.
With Shea Gilgeous-Alexander in some foul trouble in this one, so...
Oklahoma City is not going to foul! Denver will have an opportunity and a chance to play one more game for the Western Conference Finals berth.
Jesus Christ.
I, too, think that was very loud.
Yeah, calm down, dude. Like, I get it. Like, it's a nice thing that happened. It's not the greatest thing of all time.
Also, they were up 11 at that
Yeah,
point.
I know. If you're hitting, if you hit a 3 to win the game or something, I get it. Like, that's like a half-court 3 call.
It's like the waning moments of the game. Of course they're not going to foul. They're down 11 with like 6 seconds left.
Yeah, if I was in the car, I'd be like,
over.
what's going on? Like, if I heard that, I would think like something incredible was happening. I'm like, oh, you're won by 12 points.
So Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and the rest of the Oklahoma City Thunder will host Denver. How you feel about playing a Game 7?
Just do or die. It's what you live for. It's what you worked your whole life for. It's either your dream continues or your dream ends. So you lay it all out there on the floor and live with the results. But I'm excited for the opportunity for sure.
Well, the part of the game I saw last night, he had hurt his hand. And it was his shooting hand, and he was dribbling almost exclusively left-handed, and then he couldn't shoot. Apparently that fixed itself out because he ended up having a great game.
I thought Oklahoma City was going to win. They were up, 6-8 points in the third quarter. They looked great, and give Denver credit, man. But not much to not like on Sunday afternoon at 3:30. 2 top players in the game, Jokic and SGA, for a trip to the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, I thought you were going to a call, Fred. Sorry, I saw your hand move over there. I thought you were doing something, but you're not. So instead, we'll continue here. Talk about a certain night that was going on in Los Angeles last night. How do they celebrate baseball players? It's become now almost a time-honored tradition with a little tchotchke, a little giveaway. What do they give away?
Bobbleheads usually.
Yeah,
Bobbleheads.
Yeah.
Last night, whose bobblehead were they giving away?
At the Dodger game?
Yeah.
It's got to be Shohei
Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
So what does Shohei Ohtani do?
Here's a 3-1 pitch. And Ohtani just hammers one to center field. It is back. It is gone. His second home run of the night. Shohei Ohtani getting it done.
2-run homer, second of the night on his own bobblehead night.
He's the best athlete I've ever seen live.
It's funny what you mentioned yesterday. I think it was on the air when we were talking about his rookie cards because they're not all that valuable because everybody kept them, sought them out early on. It was one of those rare cases where everyone thought someone was going to be the next superstar, and everybody was right. So now everyone's got one of these cards, and so what?
Yeah, my son wanted to go to a card show, so I went to a card show, and he's like, you take cards. So I took like all these graded Ohtani rookies that I have, and I took them, some of them like signed, some of them this and that. And I took them, and I'm like, and every dealer was like, I don't want them. They're like, I don't want them. They're like, everyone's got them. And it wasn't like they were trying to scam me because it's not like they wanted them for less money. They literally did not want them. They're like, I got enough. Because everyone kept them and everyone hung on to them and everyone got him graded and everyone, because it was obvious he was going to be so good. He was pitching in everyday DH. I mean, it wasn't a mystery that he was going to be at least an oddity. Mm-hmm. And it came out during a time where everyone was collecting cards. It's no downtown Lamar Jackson that apparently,
of course,
runs the world. That my son won't sell.
Yeah. Stanley Cup playoffs continue last night with the Carolina Hurricanes completing their series win over the Capitals. They were up 3-1 going into last night's game. They ended up winning 3-1, so they take the series in 5. Also, Winnipeg last night, saying not so fast as Dallas had the 3-1 series lead. Winnipeg showing up and getting the 4-0 shutout at home against Dallas. So that series now is 3-2 Dallas.
Well, if they could get a Winnipeg-Carolina series in the finals, I'm sure the NHL would be all in on that. If Bettman was predicting the season and you go, you're going to give me Winnipeg and Carolina?
Right now, that someone from the NHL is listening to us. Shush, don't jinx it.
Yeah.
Don't jinx it. That's exactly what we want.
I wonder if they would get, and this is not an exaggeration, I wonder if they would get 1 million people a game to watch that.
No.
I don't think so either.
No, I don't think so
Probably
either.
not.
The game to watch tonight, Panthers home against Maple Leafs. Panthers win. They win the series. The Bruins get a first-round draft pick.
Yes. Florida is up 3-2 in that series, and they are home tonight, as John just said, against the Maple Leafs.
John doesn't have a lot of weekend plans.
No.
He's watching games on Saturday afternoon. He's watching games on Friday night.
Yeah.
You're a real loser.
Sunday afternoon. No.
Yeah, he's like a loser. He's just sitting around all day in front of that boob tube.
I thought I'd go home yesterday and watch a bunch of PGA Championship. I didn't even turn it on yesterday.
Really?
I was watching it here because, if you can watch during work, which I did yesterday, why watch TV on your own time? There's other stuff. If you can watch TV at work, that's
the
when you
bird
watch
school
TV.
of
Yes.
working,
Yes, exactly.
I'm surprised you didn't bring in headphones and a surround sound system.
Anywho, thank you. And some Patriots news, too, that we'll get to here in a few moments after John gets us updated with the headlines.
All right, we will be back in just a moment.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Another do-or-die evening for the Celtics. They trailed the Knicks 3-2 in their best-of-7 second-round playoff series. They visit Madison Square Garden for Game 6 tonight. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7:30 and the tip-off at 8 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Boston Globe and others are reporting that the sale of the team to a group led by William Chisholm has been completed. The other team owners still have to approve it. Red Sox had last night off. They play Atlanta at Fenway Park tonight. Garrett Crochet opposes Chris Sale. Patriots defensive lineman Christian Barmore said yesterday he expects to be ready for week 1 of the regular season. And Jonathan Vegas fired a 5-under. Check that, 7-under, 64. He leads Cam Davis and Ryan Gerard by 2 shots for first place after 1 round of the PGA Championship. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the Albrecht Auto Group, Zoe's Auto Dealer. Get respected Albrecht, now 8 locations, including the all-new Subaru of Wakefield. Thousands of new and pre-owned vehicles, all with the right price at albrechtauto.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
You're listening to Toucher and Hood. Trent Hardy resumes on the Sports Hub.
Up, dog.
What's up, man? You met this? Victoria Silvestedt or whatever her name is too.
Yes, I was in Monte Carlo a few months ago with my wife, walking into the famous restaurant there, and in the airlock between the two doors, this statue was walking out towards me, and the second I saw her, I knew exactly who she was, and I stopped dead in my tracks, and I said to my wife, "Do you know who that is?" And she said, "I have no idea who that is." I'm like, "That was this Victoria Silvstedt." She said, "Should I know who that is?" I'm like, "No, but everyone my age does. Every man I know my age does." And
she was still really hot. Well, first of all, congratulations for being in Monte Carlo. That you were quite a jet setter. But she's 50 years old. She still looks very good, huh?
She looked like she was coming out of the pages of a magazine.
Now,
big dress and everything. This is the middle of the day on like a Tuesday, and she had like some crazy cocktail dress on, and like she stuck out in a crowd. I can tell you that much.
Did you say that you recognized her, or she was pointed out to you?
No, the second I saw her, I knew exactly who she was.
Wow.
She's doesn't look like any human I've ever seen before.
It's weird. So you've experienced too, and this is her at 50. Imagine her in her 20s. Like this was, I mean, it's a whole situation. She's almost like too good looking. And now that's three people in saying the same thing. She's almost like too good looking.
Yep.
Because we were bringing it up because Felger was talking. Apparently, we got a call, and Hardy heard it about how Belichick's girlfriend is stunning.
No, he was admonishing Big Jim Murray and Maz for saying, like, she's not that hot, she's not great. And he's like, you trolls. And he included himself in that. It's like, she's, really hot, and you guys are being, ridiculous in saying that she's not good looking.
Oh, she's certainly good looking. Yeah. But then we went down the rabbit hole of, is there a type of beauty that you would give it all up for?
Yeah.
Like if there is indeed a beauty, and then it got us both. I know she's ridiculous. She's ridiculous.
That's what she looked like when I met her that day. It's like, yep, that's the one.
She's like,
that's her.
She's like, if you did if you got like a computer and you said you got to make perfect proportions, like make to the human eye, like she's like, she'd almost be better off with a flaw.
Yeah.
like a snaggletooth, or like, I know, she's like ridiculous. She's ridiculous. She's ridiculous looking.
That was, that was
super
3
hot?
years ago.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And she like hasn't even had work done, right?
Man.
Like it doesn't even look like she's had work done. If she has, it's like that perfect plastic surgery.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe who cares?
And I like plastic surgery. I like it when like women have plastic surgery. I think it's hot. So I don't have any problem with it. But she's so good looking, it doesn't even look like anything happened. Like that's probably why she had to be a prostitute, is because like it's probably weird walking around being that perfect. Being like the epitome of human beauty has got to be very, 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 in a way, difficult to deal with. It's like being handed $1 billion. You're just like walking around like, I didn't do anything. Like, I don't deserve this. Why do I like? And so like, I mean, you have to figure she was an attractive teen. I don't think she grew into that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
There was
like,
no awkward tomboy
Yeah, I
face.
would imagine like she was like stunning when she was like 14. That's got to be weird. Like the whole thing's got to be weird.
Can I tell you?
She's too good looking for her own good, is what I'm trying to say.
Before we get to the Barmore thing, my issue with Felger right now is that the pickleball thing I'm doing against Gronk and Edelman, as Rob Gronkowski told us, a week ago?
Yeah.
That he was partnering up with Julian Edelman for this charity pickleball thing. And I'm going to play against him, and they were going to set me up with a partner. There was some talk of them setting me up with like an actual pickleball pro so that I would have a chance against, two great athletes. Because, I play, but you're going up against Gronk. How tall is Rob Gronkowski?
Like 6'6".
Okay, huge advantage in most sports, including pickleball. Julian Edelman
is 5'2".
Is 5'2", but he's a maniac, and he just wants to, win at everything. So I'm like, give me. I'll take a little help. It's for charity. It's a exhibition, more or less. That fell through. So who else at the station plays pickleball? Oh, Felger. Felger and I have actually talked about maybe playing at some point. We never have. I asked him if he would play. Sure. So I talked to him last night. I'm like, you're good to do this thing? Yeah. I said, all right, I don't know how we're going to do, man. And number one, Felger does not think playing against Rob Gronkowski will be any kind of a problem. He has his strategy picked out for Gronk. He will admit that Edelman is an athlete and might pose a problem. However, when I said, all right, you want to get together and play sometime here in the next couple of weeks? And he said, I think that's a mistake, Bobby. I said, what? He goes, no night putting. What? No last-minute practice. I think we just go in there. And he said, this is what he said. This is a quote. He said, elite hand-eye. Again, I said, what? He goes, elite hand-eye. We just rely on our athleticism. I said, Mike, have you been playing? Nope. I said, do you want to just go play once as warm-up? Nope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two things. Do you think that he doesn't care about how you do?
No, I think Felger is one of these guys who also wants to win. I don't think he does things unless he has a chance at winning them.
Okay. And two, does he have like a pseudo Rat Pack affectation? Like, hey, Bobby, no night putting,
Bobby.
baby. Like, what are you, Sammy Davis Jr.?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wonder what he tried that personality on for size.
Good call. He's always called me Bob or Bobby.
Yeah. Does anyone else call you Bobby? Anybody that you've ever met in your entire life?
Only the women at my dentist office that I've been going to for over 20 years who insist on calling me Bob.
It's not only the Bobby thing; it's the Bobby no night putting. Like he's talking like he's having out to dinner with Rickles and Sinatra.
Right.
Like, which is just funny to me because it's obviously there was a point in his life where he's like, I'm going to start talking like this.
No, it's Felger, the dentist office, and our former South African engineer, Wayne Muller.
Oh, yeah.
Used to say, Bobby Poole, you're looking a bit flabby. You need to do bench press, deadlift, squat, and take psyllium husk fiber.
Yeah, because he had gone, I'm going to be hard a weightlifting guy at some point in his life.
Yeah.
At some point, like a goth kid or something. At some point, Felger was like, "I'm gonna talk like one of the Rat Pack." Bobby, no night pun, baby. Elite hand eye. Yeah.
He used to call our sales manager, my little Jewish friend. We know who wears the pants in your family.
Now this is the old engineer.
He happens to be right. He happens to be right. But that's neither here nor there.
And to his face, I'm like, it's not offensive necessarily, but why feel the need to call him that? It was so strange.
Well,
is he talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That guy was in Meatballs, and you're going to identify him.
No.
Oh, it's not him. It's
not
else.
him. Oh, I thought
it was him.
Oh. He still reaches out to me from time to time.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He had an interview, the guy that he's talking about had an interview at Google. And I had dinner with him like a couple years ago, and he had an interview at Google, and they asked him, if you were a rock in a blender, how would you get out? And I was talking to my dad after that. Like, I was in Tennessee, and I'm like trying to anything like he'll pay attention to me, or like Dad, I'm smart. And I went, we were at Google or something came up, and I'm like, I just talked to a guy that I used to work with, and he was at a Google interview, and they asked if he was a rock, how would he get out of a blender? And my dad lost his mind. What the? That's BS. What the F is talking about? This is what the hell does that even mean? That they don't ask that kind of crap. That's nonsense. I remember I had a marketing class in high school, and the teacher said that there was a guy at Ford, and he was interviewing someone, and if you put salt on your food before you ate it, they used it as some kind of tell that they didn't like. And I came home, and I was like trying to impress my father, and I told him that information, and my father lost his mind about that too, about how idiotic that was and how that never happened. So I think I'm coming to grips with how I got this way. It's like I'm like, Dad, the marketing teacher said, I don't even remember his name. The marketing teacher said the guy put salt on his food. I remember the conversation, and my dad like lost his mind, and it was the same thing about Mark. Is that he's like, I had this question. My dad lost his mind.
Start yelling at you. It's like, I'm not making it up, Dad.
Well, yeah, he was just like, no. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And it is, if you think about it. It's really stupid.
I know, but your father.
It'd be funny if you just got up and walked out. If I was a rock, how would I get out of a blender? I don't know, jackass. You got too much time on your hands. How about I leave?
I'll go talk to Yelp or something.
AI is going to take this job in 2 days anyway. Yeah. All right. Good luck if you're a computer programmer. That's all out the window. All right. We'll be back in just a moment with Bert Breer.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5.
trail this best of 7, 3 games to 2. Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell have the pregame at 7:30 and the tip-off at 8 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. A Celtics win will force a Game 7 back here in Boston on Sunday night. A Knicks win sends them on to the conference finals to play Indiana. The Boston Globe was the first to report yesterday the sale of the Celtics to a group led by William Chisholm has been finalized. The final hurdle will be the approval of the other NBA owners. That should come in the next month or two. Denver beat Oklahoma City 119-107. That series will head to a Game 7 on Sunday. Red Sox had last night off. They open up a 3-game weekend series with Atlanta at Fenway Park tonight. Patriots defensive lineman Christian Barmore said yesterday he expects to be ready for week 1 of the regular season. He has been cleared for football activity this spring. And Jonathan Vegas fired a 7 under 64. He leads Cam Davis and Ryan Gerard by 2 shots for first place entering round 2 of the PGA Championship. Things just getting underway at Quail Hollow. Davis will tee off in about 10 minutes. Vegas at 9:01. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the 99 Restaurants. Lobster Lovers Weekend is back Friday through Sunday. Order the Colossal or Hot Buttered Lobster Roll and get a free 3-course meal upgrade. You gotta love the nines. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Boston plays here.
Coming through the slot. Close shot. Save. Rebound. Score.
98.5 The Sports Hub. You said you wanted to hear more music in the morning.
Never had to knock on wood, but I never had it yet.
No, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay. Here's more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
What's the latest on Christian Barmore?
He missed most of last season due to blood clots, Laura, and today he said that he's been cleared for all football activity. So think of all the moves that the Patriots made during the offseason. Now you get back a tremendous young defensive lineman with great news about his own personal health, with him now being able to play and to be a factor for the upcoming season after he could not play for most of all of last season.
On games, Bert? Did you just get breaking news on your phone?
No. I'm ordering breakfast.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What? If you're on time, then you're late in terms of your brain. You couldn't talk enough off the air.
We're just happy you were here, man. Come on.
Yeah. I'm going to use that. No, the opener's great. Washington and Green Bay. Yeah. And I do think one thing that's interesting, to me at least, and this will resonate with you, one of the big things I was looking for was whether or not there was going to be a team that was going to get screwed the way that the Jets got screwed at the beginning of last year. And the NFL will never admit to these sorts of things, but there are complaints that they get internally from teams. And I know, like at the beginning of last year, and Fred, you remember this, they opened on a Monday night in San Francisco. When those guys are driving home on Tuesday morning from the practice facility, the sun is up in New York.
Right.
So you're basically, you're starting in San Francisco on a Monday night. Then the following Sunday, they are at Nashville, which isn't San Francisco, but it's still in another time zone. So you're giving them another road game, and then their home opener was on the following Thursday night. They went 2-1, but the 2 wins were against maybe the 2 worst teams in the league.
And they barely beat, and it took a terrible Will Levis interception for them to beat Tennessee.
Yeah. And then I think it had a lasting impact. And I think anybody who was there would tell you that took a chunk out of that team. And interestingly enough, and then the same thing I think with the Christmas teams. Now, they got kind of bailed out on that one, the league did, because they went Sunday, Saturday, Wednesday with those teams where they're playing 3 games in 10 days. To some degree, they got bailed out there because Kansas City and Houston, after they came out of that, had everything locked up. So both those teams sat everybody in Week 18. So, those teams didn't feel it quite as much. But I was interested to see if they were going to do that again to anyone. And there was only one example. And it was the one team that would never complain, that has an owner that would never complain about being on those stages. You guys know who that owner is?
Is it Shad Khan?
No. What owner would never complain about being put on?
Oh, Jerry Jones.
Yeah. So it's the Cowboys, and it's they go ahead of Thanksgiving. It goes Monday, Sunday, Thursday, which is 3 games in 10 days. However, their bye is in front of that. So they have their bye, then the Monday night game. So I do think to some degree where last year it felt like the governor came off and they were just, we don't care what the teams think. Let's just fill up the broadcast calendar. I do think that maybe they scaled
Just
back
a lot of
on
weird
that.
stuff, though. I mean, I think Kansas City has a 3-game homestand. The Patriots have a 3-game road trip.
Mad Dog
Strange.
talked to a guy from the NFL who's like in charge of like the broadcast or whatever, and he had an answer for everything. And Minnesota's got 2 international games in a row.
Back-to-back in
Back to
different
back
countries.
in
yeah.
different countries, and he was like, they wanted
Now
it.
it's Ireland and England, which is like going from New York to Boston.
Yeah. But he's like, he's like, they wanted it. And then he was talking about, well, if you have an international game, are you guaranteed to buy? And he's like, no. And he had an answer for everything.
You are. I mean, like, they'll ask you, do you want to buy after this? They'll generally accommodate that.
He said that it's too. That
It's harder
he said
now,
that, and he talked about playing in the UAE and stuff. He said that they were planning to like have you play a game in Europe and then fly out to the Middle East.
Well,
and
Australia's next year.
Yeah. So he was talking about how he's like.
So I think what they're going to
he
do
was
with
not.
Australia-
He was unapologetic. He's like, look, I can't guarantee. They might try to give him a bye, but he said this is all he said. He said, he goes, we can't guarantee him a bye, and he goes, and to be honest with you, the plan is to have, because he was like Minnesota. He's like, yeah, Minnesota said they wanted it. Or
So-
they ended up wanting it.
Minnesota there's an advantage to what Minnesota got, though.
Yeah.
Which is both those are, neither of those games are road game or home games.
Okay.
So, like, basically, so they're in the NFC, and this is one of the years where the NFC plays 8 home games and 9 road games. So they're in the most competitive division, maybe in all of football, right? In the NFC North. So all those NFC North teams are going to play 8 home games and 9 road games. They only have 7 true road games because 2 of those road games are overseas, which are road games for the other teams as well. Plus, the back end of that, the second game when they play Cleveland in London, they're going to have already been there for a week. So who's at an advantage, them or Cleveland?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how he described it,
Yeah.
is that they wanted it. And so, look for the NFL. They said, there's so many mouths to feed because now with the streaming and, what is there, like 6 different ways that you're going to need to get
somebody
the NFL?
You guys can look it up. Somebody calculated it. I think it was actually our media reporter, Jimmy Traina, calculated like how much it would cost to watch all the NFL games.
Yes, I saw
or all the different all the different
10 different services you have to download to get it all.
Like all the different subscriptions you would need. Now there are 2 sides to that. Number one is, well, if that game is at 1:00 on a Sunday, then if you have just normal TV, you're not going to be able to watch it anyway. The flip side of it is, well, if I'm going to pay for Sunday ticket and I'm not going to get that game, well, that sucks because now I'm paying for Sunday ticket and there's another game out there that when you pay for Sunday ticket, you're basically paying for I get to see all the games.
I have Sunday ticket,
and that's not necessarily the
and it does
case.
suck. But the thing about the streaming that I don't mind is I just won't watch it. Like when then I almost become like I become. Well, first of all, everyone has Amazon. Right. Everyone has Amazon Prime.
Everyone has Netflix.
And everyone has Netflix. So, but like I become like I dig my heels in. Like when they were like, you need the Peacock to watch Kansas City, Miami. I'm like, I don't need to watch Kansas City, Miami. Who needs to watch it? I don't need to watch it.
You know what really sucks though is for the bars. Like now, this is something that people don't pay attention to that actually is a factor. Where I remember this came up for I read a story on it when Ohio State was playing like Maryland last year or whatever, and obviously like in a college town, a huge part for if you're a bar and restaurant, like huge revenue is going to be off of those game weekends. Well, like you're not paying whatever it is $13.99 a month if you're a bar, you're paying way more than that to have the streamer on your TV, and you're probably not even able to buy it monthly. You probably have to buy it, and I think it's annually.
As
so
a package.
Somebody like one of the games got put on Peacock, and like these bars were gonna have to pay like $20,000 just to I think it wasn't Ohio State, Maryland. It was Ohio State, Michigan State. I think that was on Peacock last year. So they were going to have to pay $20,000 just to have that one game on their TV. And it's like, well, what do we only get 12 of these every year, and they're a huge driver for us and bringing people in and keeping our business alive. Like, what do we do? That sucks. You know what I mean?
That does suck. And
so there's all kinds of I think there's all kinds of fallout to this that's really different.
Well, they're going to push it until they have to pull back. I mean, they're going to test how far they can go.
Well,
and you don't know how far you can go until you get there. And they're going to push it as far as they can.
Well, this is like when cable becomes the bargain again.
Yeah.
Because you're unspooling. The cable bundle is actually really smart if you think about it. And all streaming is all the different streaming platforms, that's like unspooling the cable bundle, right? Like, so Paramount Plus, that's taking CBS properties off of, and I'm not taking shots at any of these people, it's just what it is. Like, Paramount Plus is taking CBS properties off of cable television. Peacock is taking NBC properties off of cable television. So you're unspooling the bundle. So that's what the genius of the cable bundle was. And that's where I do have some sympathy for fans who do want to watch as much of this as they possibly can.
Yeah, but again, the NFL is going to see how far they can take it, because there will become a point where, I mean, if you're a streamer now, you're not looking to make a profit on the NFL. Obviously, you're just looking to
to get your foot in the door.
To get your foot in the door.
Only thing. I mean, the thing is, live sports are.
We talked about that at 6.
Yeah, live. It's the only thing anybody watches live anymore. Like, it's the only. Like, no one watches anything else live anymore.
And advertisers want live programming.
Yeah.
And they want all eyes on their ad at the same time. And so, yeah, it's all going to go back to live. Believe me, the live programming is you could.
There's no question. I mean, I can. When I'm on with you guys, I can feel a difference between this and like, you can feel it when you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, there's 100% a difference.
There's that, and there's also that you can't make any money podcasting. There's no, you can't. No one wants to advertise on it. It's just it is what it is.
I'm not being a company man here.
All the way live, baby. Good for you.
But I do.
But it's part of the overall sales pitch. You know, it's like the whole, do you need this? Well, one of the reasons why you might need it is because it's live and it's happening right now. If something happens, it gets recorded 2 days ago, a week ago, do I need to listen to it? Well, I guess not. If I really needed to watch it or listen to it, I would have watched it or listened to it by now.
I mean,
so that's where live trumps all that stuff.
I got that reaction when I did the stupid like Periscopes live at halftime during game. Like, people love that. It was like, oh well, because you're interacting with me and I'm actually there. It's
right.
Like, you're not listening to some canned version of me. You know, like, which I can understand that. Like, the more you look at it, the more it makes sense.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. We'll see what the breaking point is for people. For me,
that's the NFL's methodology, though, with everything, whether it's the scheduling, whether it's the the travel, or the how many different services can we put these games on. Let's just keep pushing the boundaries here until somebody balks, or the audience.
Just remember what
the fan base revolts. And so far, I don't know if they've tiptoed up to the line, but
You should have heard this guy yesterday, dude. He was just blowing through it. He didn't care. He's like, you think 2 international games is a big deal? He's like, wait until we go to the Middle East.
See,
that's what he said.
No, there's 20 regular season games, and 6 of them are outside of the country.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Roger Goodell has said, I want this many, and we're going to increase international
Full
games.
schedule.
You're talking about UA. You're talking about Australia next year.
So
when does? Well, my overall point is, does the players union ever push back on any of this in the future?
If it means more money. Like that's how they're going to tell it to the players, that you get a percentage of all of this. I don't know how much power the union has. They've also got their executive director now is this guy Lloyd Howell, who's more a businessman. Like, D. Smith was a lawyer, so they were more combative when D was in charge. It'll be interesting to see the way that he handles this, because he may present these to the players as business propositions. The Australia thing is going to be interesting, because I think the Australia thing next year is a gateway for them to test Labor Day weekend. And I think that that's probably what's going to happen. Like, I think they're probably going to open the season on Labor Day weekend in Australia.
You got to give the 2 teams God forbid if they're not 2 West Coast teams, you got to give the 2 teams a bye week on the way back.
One of them's the Rams. We know that already.
So Labor Day weekend right now belongs to college football.
So Labor Day weekend, the NFL has played on Labor Day weekend in the past. They found, and they haven't done it in like 20 years, but they found in the past that it was not a good ratings weekend, which is why they've traditionally avoided it, right?
Okay.
If they go to 18 games and they start to have to play with the calendar a little bit more, do they keep pushing it back into February, or do they move it up and start a week earlier and start on Labor Day weekend? And I do think, to some degree, the idea of starting on like putting that game next year on Labor Day weekend would give them a test case. Like, is this game going to rate? And if it comes up with a really bad number, then maybe it just becomes like, okay, like this is going to be a novelty when we play in some place. Because Brazil, the reason they play Brazil the opening weekend is because like that's a much longer flight. Getting to Brazil, that's a much longer flight than going to London or going to Madrid or even going to Germany. It's an 11-hour flight.
Yeah.
So like they went week one last year. So the teams that were playing in it could plan around it a little bit more and build up to it a little bit more. Obviously, with Australia, you're talking about not only a longer flight than Brazil, but like Brazil had no time zone issue. I think Brazil is maybe one time zone different than here.
So it's 9:20 p.m. right now in Melbourne. So when are they going to play that game locally there in Australia?
I remember
to where people will watch it
5
here?
a.m.
So they were. I think it
We
was.
need a time machine. Yeah, seriously. It's like when it's like, on New Year's Eve when
So
it's
10 hours time difference, Hardy? 10 hours, right? You said it's 9 or no? Is it 14 hours?
14 is what if Hardy's right.
9:20 p.m.
When
Friday night.
when they announced this, I remember I had it and I had what they were going to do. I think it was something like it was going to be like on maybe like at night here, but like the next day, it was going to be the next day, like midday.
If you played it at midnight Australia time, it would still be.
It was
10 a.m. here.
Well, it would be 7 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast.
No, but if you played it at noon Australia time,
that's 10 p.m. here.
10 p.m. here.
I'm sorry.
So
yes, 10 p.m. here.
So if you played it at 11 a.m. Australia time, now you're 9 p.m. East Coast. You're 6 p.m. in LA. I think it would be something like that.
Well,
and I think that was it. And then they were going to play it on maybe on a Saturday, and then they were going to fly home. And because of the time difference, if you fly from Australia, I think you get home the same day, where you lose a day going there.
So then you could play the Thursday game if need be.
Yeah.
Well, once you do
Saturday,
these big TV contracts and people are just throwing money around, now's the time to experiment with this stuff because there's what everyone's on the books. You could try whatever you want. So
they're going to keep pushing the boundaries with all of this, of course.
That's it. Yeah, and again, I heard the guy from the league office, and he was unapologetic about all of it. He had an answer for everything.
I mean, Fred, you're right. Like their tone has changed.
Oh, for sure. He wasn't. He was just like, yeah, dude, we're doing all this. Because there was something about Thanksgiving that they were throwing something against the wall.
There was a college football play. It was the college football playoff. One of their guys said, like, that's an NFL day. It's like, okay, like you say that's an NFL day where the college football playoff triple header is, but then you schedule 3 games on Christmas on a Wednesday now. Wasn't that an NBA day? Like, so
that's
they started playing by
the Lord's
rules.
Day.
Yeah, because they put Chiefs.
Yeah, it is the Lord's Day.
They put Chief Cowboys on Thanksgiving because you would think, why would you waste Chief Cowboys for Thanksgiving? And they want to try to
break records.
To break records. They want $40 million. They said for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So and he said, yeah, we're kind of just screwing around and seeing how many people we can get. Like they're like experimenting because they're so flush right now that they're just.
They also had a deeper schedule this year because the NFC East plays the NFC North. The NFC North plays the AFC North. And then I think the AFC West,
whatever.
The
It's a
AFC West
deep
plays
schedule.
the NFC East, so there's a ton of good games. Yeah.
All right. We'll be back. There's all this Caleb Williams news coming out, Barrymore news. We'll get into it with Bird in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy.
program. They're building it the right way. But to go from 4 to 12, I mean, I'm sure it's happened a few times in the course of NFL history. I think it's
This is Bim Scala Bim.
It's Bim Scala Bim.
They're playing the Paradise on Saturday.
Right.
And I will be introducing them on stage.
Whoa!
Yes, it's true. Adolfo is coming in today because he's going to that Doughboys thing that I said I'd go to, but I can't go because I got to do this.
That's right.
I think I'd prefer to do this. They've asked me every year to promote it, and I have. But then I said this year, you know what, I'll go. I'll support the scene, man. Adam cannot support the scene. I asked Adam if he wanted to go with me. He can't go.
Can't or won't?
Won't
Can't.
really. Won't really. So what are you going to do? All right, that was obviously Giardi talking about the Patriots, but what I want to talk about is some's coming out with Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams, we had heard rumblings about it, but he was like trying to manipulate the draft, so he didn't want to go to Chicago. What do you know about that?
Seth Wickersham.
Yeah, this was like part of like I think a couple year thing where, his dad was looking at some big picture ideas of how to handle, his kid going into the pros. And, I think this is part of like the whole athlete empowerment thing. And I know they had looked into the idea and had asked around with people on the idea of like, hey, can we force our way to a certain team or where we want to go? And it basically came back to them when they researched it and they brought some people in and everything else that they would not have the power to do it. But it's some of the big picture, I think, thinking that you're going to have more and more players employing as they go from college into the pros, where it's, well, like, is that really where I want to land? And we saw it with Shador, too. Now it blew up in his face because he simply was not that level of prospect to be able to pull that stuff. But I think more and more you're going to see this now where, like, players are going to look at it and say, well, is that the ideal spot for me?
Well, because it's been done with Manning and Elway, Eli Manning and John Elway, but they were elite talents. Caleb Williams was an elite talent.
Well, here's the other thing is that these guys are coming into the league with some money in their pocket, too. Like, you have the rookie salary scale, right? And a lot of these guys are coming in. I mean, I don't know if Caleb Williams had like $10 million he'd made in college, but it probably wasn't that far off from that. So, like, it's not like just get me my first paycheck.
Yeah, but you still lose so much money.
You still do.
By
But
not going pro.
I do think it gives you like a little bit of leverage where it's like you can at least wait them out a little. Where you'd be less comfortable doing that if you're afraid that you're going to blow your first paycheck.
So the deal is he wanted to go to the Vikings?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is where everybody wanted to go last year.
Why?
Because of the situation. Like, all the quarterbacks wanted to go there. Because, I mean, J.J. McCarthy, to some degree, like, engineered. I know from the very beginning it was like, how do we get ourselves to Minnesota? Now, it worked out for him. But, I think Drake would be in that category. Drake really liked the idea of going to Minnesota. He had the relationship with Josh McCown. He had, there were a lot of people that really liked the idea of going there because of Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Kevin O'Connell, Christian Darrisaw. I mean, the infrastructure there for a quarterback is pretty incredible. And we saw and there was 17 games of evidence on why and how Sam Darnold played last year.
It's funny because Hardy is watching golf. And Bill Belichick is on
the
Good
one-on-one.
Morning America.
Oh, here we go.
He's hideous. He's a hideous looking man.
Wow, this is early in the show for.
You think this is hard hitting?
We don't know.
We thought they'd save this for 8 o'clock, but apparently not.
Yeah, they wanted to get this done.
I'm sure you guys are rolling on this, right?
Oh yeah.
Don't worry.
Well, now this is 8 o'clock.
Don't you worry.
Adam's got
We've had to move
good
some
to go.
things.
Yeah, we'll move some things around.
And now we can. We've had
Okay.
to move some things around.
I said it over text. I will say it. I will say it on the air now. You guys deserve credit for your outstanding coverage of the Jordan Hudson situation. If I were you, I may be cutting some of the audio and submitting it to the awards committee.
The Marconis.
It's not easy to be on the Vanguard.
Yeah.
He looks like uncomfortable.
He always looks uncomfortable in a suit.
Yeah, and he also is hideous. I didn't realize he needs Invisalign.
He's wearing a lot of makeup.
Yeah, he looks like Danny DeVito in the episode of Little Beauties of Always Sunny in Philadelphia where he has the mortician do his makeup. That's kind of what he looks like. He looks like that's what Bill Belichick will look like in his coffin. Is what he looks like on Good Morning America right now.
Well, it was funny because
he's done up like a dead man.
When he was
stupid teeth of his.
But when he was with Linda, he would wear like these like the kind of like the Nantucket fashion, like kind of like the loud spring sports coat. Yeah. And I thought that looked so weird on him too.
Yeah.
Not that I'm like a judge, but
Look, listen, he came all dolled up in his suit and everything else today. It's something else.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go completely by his uncomfortable laugh.
Doesn't look very hard hitting, just without the sound.
He looked uncomfortable for a second, but this is live, which I will give them credit for.
Yeah.
It is a live interview, which makes it 10 times funnier. Because there at least is a chance that it could go sideways. It won't. Because, the Strahan,
sure.
a lot of, they obviously, I guess that book is not sold anything.
I was just thinking the same thing because they got it propped up on the little stand there, and everything leading into it, whether it was the initial reviews, which were lukewarm at best, to
it made
the
the New
initial
York Times
push for it.
bestseller list, though.
Of what? In what category?
I don't know. It was number 5 on the list that I saw.
Yeah, and so that could be of
sports coach memoirs.
Sports coach memoirs. I don't think the New York. It's not Chicken Soup for the Soul or Tuesdays with Maury. Let's put it that way.
No, because that includes life coach memoirs. You can't. It's got to be very specific.
Yeah, you're right. Okay,
yeah.
So
what category?
Advice, how to, and miscellaneous.
Yeah, so 5 on the New York Times bestsellers list wasn't where they were aiming, Bert. To be honest with you, with this. When you're doing a national media tour.
Just behind Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Yeah, so, not exactly a huge, you can get the audiobook for free. I'm looking
so far,
right now
the conversation's all football. Nothing of.
Oh, good. Good for Strahan.
Perfect.
Good for Strahan. That's all. That's
X's
awesome.
and O's.
Already gobbled
That's
up
what everyone
over
wants.
half of the time he has allotted.
Abby Wambach has a book on that list at number 3.
Oh, good.
Yeah, there you go.
Who's Abby Wambach?
She's a
soccer player.
Yeah, played for the USA team.
Oh, so in that beat Bill Belichick's release?
She's a forward. Used to be a forward.
My
on the
guess is that
USA
book
team.
didn't just come out either. Like,
God, no. She's been retired for like a decade.
Yeah.
Well, and it's 708th on Amazon, which is good for its opening week.
Yeah.
And it's number 1 in football coaching books. So he's got that going for him. 708th on the Amazon.
Thanks for pointing that out. By the way, I did not see the.
The New York Times bestseller list is not
advice how to.
There's a lot of categories.
That
it's
wasn't
not
the main list, Bert. That's
because you don't even have to stoop to like
now
no
I
one's
feel
reading.
like I was stooped. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Well, how far the journalism? Has
weeks
fallen.
on list. So the Atomic Habits, which is ahead of it at number 4.
Yeah.
So The Art of Winning has been on the list for 1 week because it just came out. Atomic Habits has been on the list for 285 weeks.
Well, I know because of my extensive research that the reason that they had to do this media blitz is because the book company said the pre-sales are atrocious. Like no one wants this book.
Because if there was something interesting in there, like that's like the Caleb thing we were just talking about. Like that's from a book. Like that will make you want to buy that book, right?
If you're doing national tours for a book, you should get into the real New York Times bestsellers list just by accident.
Well,
the idea that he's not is with all this talk about him is it shows just what a piece of garbage this book is and how no one cares.
But you need to have something interesting in there. It can't just be like
no one cares about his philosophy of coaching. They want to know his philosophy about giving money to young women or picking up 19-year-olds on planes. That's what they want.
That
to know
would
from
sell
him.
it. You
or wearing
want to be in the
mortician's
top
makeup.
5 on the regular list. That's what you include.
I did hear you guys in Pablo Torre. I think I think Jordan's birthday is out there. Actually, there was a newspaper clipping that was floating around on Twitter. I might have sent it to you guys.
Yeah, it's a year off that she put in the things. Yeah. And also, according to the Boston Globe, there's no record of her graduating from the college that she claims to have graduated from. She has a cosmetology degree.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you actually ask the institution about her Bachelor of Science, was it that she
in philosophy? There's no record of that.
Record.
Usually, colleges will keep a
Like
record
a
of
stolen
you
valor situation.
It seems, at least according to the Globe, that they couldn't prove that she graduated from the college she claims to have graduated from.
That was enough to get George O'Leary fired at Notre Dame, wasn't it?
It was indeed. Georgia
he
Tech.
started,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then he went to Central Florida and rebuilt that program.
Yep.
For the longest time, I think you could get away with just saying that you had a college degree because to check on it was going to
pain in the ass.
phone calls.
And then they have to go through like the
letters.
records and
Yeah, that's like why you're.
But now all you got to do is like punch it into a system and you can find out, I'm sure.
I did the gymnastics in my head early in my college career, knowing that I was never going to go to grad school and that who the hell was ever going to check on my grades. So that I really put a governor on my effort.
Yeah.
I've even told my kids, I'm like, if you don't want to go to grad school, just get into college.
That really, I mean, I've not once been asked what my GPA was in college.
well,
I've been asked what my GPA was in high school more than I've been asked what my GPA was in college.
The hardest thing about getting into Harvard is about going to Harvard is getting into Harvard.
Right.
Like once you're in.
Now, if you're going to be a doctor, that's different.
Right.
Like, if you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, that's different. But yeah, if you're going to do what we do,
not necessary.
What were your GPAs then, Bert? Since you're so proud of yourself for not being
my
asked.
GPA in high school was a 2.1.
Oh,
good for you.
Now I scored. Now I had a really high SAT, which made me a difficult case for admissions people. But and then in college it wasn't as bad. In college I think I was like a 2.7 or 2.8. I did really well in my journalism
You did
classes.
better in college than you did in high school.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
That's
flip that for me.
Shows Ohio State's really on the money.
Wow.
Hachi Manchi.
You walked into that. Come on. You knew that was coming.
Got into Ohio State with a 2.1.
That really doesn't speak.
That's why
well.
my dad said, like, when I found out I got into Ohio State, because of where he went and where he's from, it's like, well, all you got to do to get in there is sign up.
Of course.
Which was basically right then. But it's hard to get in there now. It's hard to get in there
Hard
now.
to get in everywhere now.
I mean, I was just lucky
My
because I was
daughter
the
and her
kid. I was the
friends
kid
did-
who scored. I scored high on every standardized test. Like those were no problem for me.
My daughter and her
Idiot
friends, a
savant.
bunch of them, the schools they applied to, and Ohio State was on her list, and that's tough to get into. Clemson, extraordinarily difficult to get
Well,
into
that's
now
why I
because
say-
the
that's why I
number
say,
of
like,
applicants.
That's why I say, like, people complain what college football coaches make. Dabo Swinney to Clemson is worth so much more than he makes. Worth so much more than he makes.
Clemson's always been a good school. The biggest example I could think of is Alabama. Is that like kids from the Northeast are going to Alabama now, and Alabama's a crap school, and it's like it's difficult enough to get into.
Nick Saban was probably
Clemson's always been a good school. Alabama's a really bad school. Like it's a garbage school, and now because of the
Forrest
success of the
Gump got in
football
there.
team, indeed. Well, I mean, he could run like the wind. He could run forever. All right. Well, the interview's over. He better have. There better be something.
There is.
It's what you all,
Nice.
all those schools have a lot to offer. It's what you put into them once you're there.
No. Alabama's a dump school. It's garbage. It's trash.
You were
But
just talking to someone on the phone last night whose son just graduated from there.
yeah, because everyone's going to now. Look at. Go to Alabama. It doesn't matter to me.
I will say this though, like,
What
my
did he think
friend-
it's a good school?
But you know
Because
what?
it's
You know what it is though.
I think he thought it was a good use of his money. Yes.
I
know what
will.
you're talking about. It just dawned on me.
You know
I
what,
talked
though?
to him too.
I might have talked to him too.
You did talk to him
You
last
did talk
night.
to him last night.
Well, guess what? It's not a good school. I don't know what to tell you.
But you know what? You know what though? Like, and that's the same. Like Ohio State's like, trust me, the academic reputation over the years has gotten better. When I was there, it was not considered a great.
No, Ohio
school.
State was a crap school too.
But that's the thing is like when I went to school there, like, and I had friends from here who went to like little Division III schools or whatever would come visit me there. Their reaction after spending a weekend out there would be like, "Why the hell didn't I go to a school like that?"
It's the same thing with
and
Michigan
that's why,
State.
and
I
that's
did
why
Greek week at Ohio State.
and
I
that's
was like, Jesus.
And that's why so many kids now, I think kids have wised up to it because it's all over the TV and it's all over
Right.
social media now. Like, yeah, like of course people want to go to schools like that.
Yeah. All right,
Hardy?
We will be back in just a moment
Big
with
Ten, baby.
Bert, and then at 8 o'clock we can go over the Belichick interview. I'm sorry for our distractions. Hardy's watching his golf, and I saw the mortician makeup on Bill Belichick, and I became very.
I mean,
distracted.
he was.
I'm gonna
They
go back.
they really caked it on.
Yeah, it's not good.
Find out how much we're gonna have to devote to
Yeah.
this.
All right.
I want to know if Jordan was there. Can we find that out?
Oh, for 1,000% she was there. 1,000%.
Did they make her stay in the lobby? I don't know, like for optics.
That would have been great. She would have thrown a temper tantrum. Would have been fantastic.
You guys should just park somebody in like the lobby of the studio just to see them come in.
Yeah.
Nick,
right.
that would have been a good assignment.
Yes.
So we could just harass them. All right, so we'll be back in just a moment.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics will try and save their season again. They'll visit the New York Knicks for Game 6 of their second-round playoff series, down 3-2. Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell have the pregame at 7:30 and the tip-off at 8 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Boston Globe was the first to report yesterday that the sale of the Celtics to a group led by William Chisholm has been finalized. It now only needs to be approved by the other team owners. Red Sox had last night off. They're back home to play Atlanta tonight. Garrett Crochet will oppose Chris Sale. Patriots defensive lineman Christian Barmore told the media yesterday he's been medically cleared for football activity this spring. He expects to be ready for week 1 of the regular season. And round 2 of the PGA Championship is underway. Jonathan Vegas of Venezuela has the lead after shooting a 7-under 64 yesterday. He'll tee off at just after 9 a.m. this morning. He has a 2-shot advantage as the field gets onto the course. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti and Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, the hair doctor of Hardy, Brian Scalabrine, and Dave Portnoy. Call 1-800-GET-HAIR for your free consultation. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8 o'clock.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub.
Spring rains revealing roof issues? At Associate Roofing, we specialize in high-quality craftsmanship, copper, cedar, slate, and more. We are third-generation roofers. Call for a free inspection and let us help you protect your home.
Make a grand return to the road this summer with Memorial Day specials all month long at Ira Mazda in Westwood. There's always more to explore in a 2025 Mazda CX-30 2.5 S Select Sport. Now available to lease for just $259 a month for 33 months. Or with 2.9% APR financing for 36 months. Or do more of what moves you in a 2025 Mazda CX-50 2.5 S Select for only $279 a month or with 0.9% APR for 36 months. Don't wait. Get these limited time early summer offers and more in person or online at iramazda.com. Not all customers will qualify. Offers expire 6/2/25. See dealer for complete details.
Morning people wake up for peace and quiet. McDonald's breakfast people, we wake up for the
What's the best way to listen to Toucher and Hardy?
Well, you're going to have to spend $40.
Cough it up, and let's get back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
I realized I smell.
How's that?
I smelled myself, and I realized I smell, which you would be surprised is a rarity. I don't usually smell, but I smell of BO today.
Okay.
I don't even usually have to wear deodorant. I will if I'm going out, but I usually don't have to wear it. But today I stink.
Okay.
I lost track of when I last showered. That might be the issue.
That might be a problem.
Yeah, I've lost track of it.
Yeah.
That's bad if you got to rack your brain for that.
Because I do it before I go to bed generally, and then that's all mishmash. I don't know what's going on at that point. I've been brain dead.
See, I can't get going in the morning without showering, so I
Yeah.
can't not shower.
Same.
Yeah. Even if it's just like a 3-minute
just
shower.
quick. It just has to happen. I agree.
All right. Well, be listening at the end of this segment for your chance to see Iggy Pop with the Sex Pistols at the stage at Suffolk Downs. John and Bert were debating the merits of the Patriots season. And Bert, your point was name a position group of strength, a position of strength.
Yeah, so I think they're going to be better. Don't get me wrong on that. And I think the 6, 7, 8, 9 win range is totally fair. I think they've got their head above water in a lot of spots. I think comparing them to Washington I think the strategy is the same as what the Commanders did last year. I'd also point out the environment the Commanders were in. They were competing in the NFC, and the NFC isn't nearly as deep as the AFC. Yes, there's the easy schedule thing. I look at where the Patriots are right now, and I think they've done a lot, again, to get their heads above water at a lot of positions, but I don't see one thing when I look at them where I'm like, oh my God, what's another team going to do about this? The closest I can get is the corner situation. I think they're going to be really good. I think they're going to be a really good corner with Carlton Davis now playing opposite Christian Gonzalez. I think the defensive line's going to be pretty good. I think the defensive line's going to be pretty good. But is that like Philadelphia?
No. My only point was they've gotten better.
I mean, your best defensive lineman is somebody who didn't start for the Eagles
but
last year.
now that Barmore, who said yesterday he's healthy and ready to go, and Harold Landry theoretically knows what he's doing at one edge, and you have Keon White, who showed well early. I mean, all of these things are hypothetical, but if you look at multiple positions on the field, they've gotten better.
Yep.
They have more depth. Couple that with a
100%,
much easier schedule,
Yeah.
then you can see 7, 8, 9.
And
no problem.
What I like about the schedule is with certain teams, I think this is at a much higher level. This is the case with San Francisco this year. Is their first month is a layup, so they're losing a lot of guys.
Patriots schedule's easy at the start
and
too.
that's what I'm saying. If you have some things that you've got to work out, or you got some young guys you're counting on where you're going to need growth, and your schedule is a little softer on the front end, well, then that's going to give you some time to ride out some of the growing pains, which I like that about the schedule here. That said, here's the flip side of it, okay? Flip side of it is people around here still have this mentality of 5 or 10 years ago. And look, it is what it is, but you're looking down at certain teams. If you are sitting in Vegas right now and you're the Raiders, and you got Pete Carroll, and you got Geno Smith, and you got Ashton Genty, and you got Brock Bowers, you have Max Crosby, and the schedule came out 2 days ago, and you see the Patriots in week 1, what are you thinking?
We couldn't have it easier.
Right. So that's the thing. Is you're not going from being an average team to being a good team. You're going from a bad team to
mediocre.
To being a team that looks at any other less than good team and thinks, that's a win for us.
Carolina played well down the stretch last year, right? Carolina. How do you think Carolina's looking at week 4 and being like, oh no, we're not going to win?
No,
that game?
there's a big batch of teams every year, and the Patriots have now elevated themselves to be in the group that they can be one of these teams that looks at one of these other teams
Vegas.
that says, oh, if we want to get to 7, 8 wins, there's a win for us there.
Carolina finished the season strong last year. Bryce Young showed signs of life. Vegas, they're bringing in Pete Carroll. They traded for Geno. They've got Ashton Genty now. Brock Bowers was one of the best young players we've seen come into the league in the last 4 or
Yep.
5 years
Yep.
at his position, like Vegas has some momentum. Like, so you're one of these teams that's in that group. And when I hear people go through the schedule and it's like the Patriots are going to sweep every one of those teams, which are their peers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Vegas and Carolina, until further notice, those are their peers.
That's
like they're
not the way
gonna
I feel about
they're
this.
not going to sweep those teams.
No, that's not the way. I'm just hoping for 2-2.
Right.
After the last 2 years, I'm just hoping they split those 4. That to me is a good start.
I mean, you know what's interesting is like I even look at like Cleveland in Week 8, right?
Yeah.
Look at the start of Cleveland's schedule. Holy crap! Like, they could start 0-6.
Okay.
And so now you're going to get to that point, like where that's going to be a desperate team that is battle hardened, that needs a win in the worst way, maybe jobs, or it could be gone, or they could be,
or they
completely
could
off
be
the-
Cleveland and spin into a ditch, and it won't be a problem.
and you could wind up facing Dylan Gabriel,
Wow.
but you don't
The
know.
Browns' schedule is
Isn't
no
that bad?
joke.
Baltimore, Green Bay, Lions, Minnesota.
Jesus.
Ugh.
At the
Steelers.
Steelers,
Oh, man.
Dolphins at home. Yeah, that's not an easy
I
schedule.
mean, it's 0-6, right? Like if you look at it, like your first blush with the Browns schedule would be 0-6.
Yeah. If you were they'll be the dog in the first 6 games unless there's an injury or something. All right, Bert, thank you. But
got it.
we have to.
I know there are more important matters.
There are
at
pressing
hand.
matters at hand. For
I
instance,
need to hustle to the car so I can catch those matters.
That's right. Caller number 10 to the contest line, 617-931-0985. We'll score a pair of tickets to see Iggy Pop with the Sex Pistols and the Molotovs at the stage at Suffolk Downs on Thursday, September 25th, courtesy of Bowery Presents. Tickets on sale today at 10 a.m. Visit stage@suffolkdowns.com. When we come back, we will all enjoy for the first time the Michael Strahan, Bill Belichick interview. We will play that for you with commentary. That will be coming up in just a moment.
and Boston Celtics are looking for number 19.
Tatum pulling it.
Hear every playoff game right here. Your home for Boston Celtics basketball. WBZ FM and HD1 Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics trailed the New York Knicks 3-2 in their best-of-7 second-round playoff series. And after a blowout win without Jason Tatum on Wednesday night to keep things going, the Green will try to force a Game 7 tonight. Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell have the pregame at 7:30 and the tip-off at 8 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Boston Globe and others are reporting that the sale of the franchise to a group led by William Chisholm has been completed. The other team owners still have to approve it. Getting back to a Game 7, that's what we now have between Denver and Oklahoma City Sunday afternoon. That's because the Nuggets scored a 119-107 win in Game 6 last night. Red Sox had yesterday evening off. They play Atlanta tonight. If you get a ticket for this one, you're fortunate. Garrett Crochet opposes Chris Sale. Patriots defensive lineman Christian Barmore said yesterday he expects to be ready for week 1 of the regular season. And round 2 of the PGA Championship is underway in Charlotte. Jonathan Vegas has a 2-shot lead at 7 under par. He'll tee off in a little under an hour. Cam Davis and Ryan Gerard are both 5 under. Davis is already on the course. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by 128 Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric, the company that finishes every job strong. If your home or business has a plumbing, HVAC, electrical, or drain issue that can't wait, you need to call 128 now at 888-CALL-128. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
To us, Boston pride runs deep.
I'm a Bostonian.
This is Boston's Home for Sports.
Bow, bow, bow.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Toucher and Hardy.
Such an fantastic explosion.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. And you can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube if you would. That would be very nice of you. This Jordan Hudson thing obviously is blown up. There is New York Times. The Globe has an article. And there's 2 interesting things about the Globe article. One is that they can't find any evidence that she graduated from Bridgewater State. And number 2 is maybe the worst doctor in the history of the world. I mean, it's like almost like bizarre. Like
so
this
bad.
doctor is to doctors what Jordan Hudson is to PR people. Listen to this, John. I don't know. Have you read this article?
I have not. Okay, that's good.
Listen to this. So they feel like they have, for some reason, they have to go to a therapist to talk about this. Dr. Monica O'Neill, a clinical psychologist in Boston who specializes in relationships, believes the intensity of the public opinion about the pair is related to the significant age difference, but also to Hudson's demeanor and prominent role she seemingly plays in Belichick's career.
Really?
Yeah, no kidding. Wow.
Wow. You went to school for this?
But here's the quote. Wow. Quote, I don't know how much women care about this story. It seems like the bigger sense of disgust, disappointment, or what the heck is going on is coming from men. It's because Hudson doesn't fit the mold of a trophy wife who will just go along silently. She's so brazen, so outspoken that men are questioning not just Belichick's judgment, but his cognitive function. To that, I would say, are you out of your mind?
What the hell's wrong with you?
Like, how can you be specialized in relationships and don't know that every woman over the age of 30 is fascinated by this story because it's a younger woman with an older man, something that every woman hates? It's almost so off the mark that it's like insane. Like, did you go to like reverse school?
Oh,
Did
no.
they have a vacuum out of your head?
No. You know where she went to school? The University of North Carolina.
Oh,
okay.
And George Washington and Harvard Medical School.
Well, I will Harvard Medical School. Now I want Trump to put you in the ground.
Did she close herself off to all other women during her schooling?
Like, I don't know how a younger woman with an older man, if you are anybody, you don't realize that's of great interest to women. They don't like that. And let alone a clinical psychologist with a Harvard degree to talk that you specialize in relationships. You're out of your mind.
Also lists herself as a clinical psychologist, relationship expert, media consultant.
I may be out of my
She's-
depth, but what woman doesn't look at that? What woman looks at that and goes, that's fine.
You know how we
Nothing
have
to
no
see
women
here."
listeners? All of a sudden, we have women listeners. If you go by my Instagram, this is, I mean, she's just wrong. I mean, just wrong. The whole concept of it is wrong. It's not even to Belichick. It's the notion that women aren't fascinated with younger women with old men. Like, that's completely a woman's thing.
It's not that she's wrong. She's so spectacularly wrong about 4 different ways in 2 sentences.
And it's not because, like, we talk about it on the air. It's just knowing women.
Wow.
Like, have you talked to any divorced woman? If her husband starts dating a younger woman, that's all they talk about.
I was talking to my wife last night. She's out of town, and before she could even get 2 words out, her friend in the background is yelling about Bill Belichick and wanting to know about this latest thing. I'm like, I don't even know what the latest thing is. What are you talking about? Like, borderline obsessed with this story.
Like, have you ever worked with a divorced couple? It's all divorced women talk about is that their husband is with a younger woman. It's crazy. It's not, I mean, that's complete nonsense. Anyway, I guess it's trying to spin it into like men are pieces of garbage and whatever.
No one's ever heard that
All right,
before.
so
It seems like a very wild piece. Like you're just swinging for the PC fences and you kind of missed.
I don't know. Bill Belichick on Good Morning America this morning with Michael Strahan. Now, we had talked about this for the last few days.
Well, if I can say this, is that take us out of the equation. ABC has been pimping this interview for a week. They started pimping it this weekend.
Yes.
Like, so this is, benchmark Friday, write it down. We got an exclusive live interview with Bill Belichick.
Are we going to push it to 8:40 toward the end of the show? Because nope, 7:30. Get through your big bag of news there first. You break for local weather and news. Come back 7:30. This is your big feature thing that you're doing on a morning network news program. They give them the 7:30 slot. Michael Strahan sitting down with Bill Belichick. All right, so they get in. He's there to promote his book. So of course there is a question about the book.
Right.
There are multiple questions about the book, but then Tom Brady. Okay, there's a lot to ask when it comes to Tom Brady. You know, the breakup at the end and how Brady went off to play win another Super Bowl with Tampa. There's so many directions.
He hasn't
take
won
this
without
question.
Brady, right?
Hasn't won without Brady. Let's hear Michael Strahan's question to Bill Belichick about Tom Brady.
You dedicate a few special pages to people along the way. Page 199 is dedicated to your 199th pick in 2000 draft, Tom Brady. And
that's cute. That's fun.
Yeah.
Because you're in on the book.
Well, I think it was his creative muse who told him to do that.
Yeah, that's fun. That's what I like out of books is knowing what page number I'm on and correlating to my story.
Page 199.
What a fun literary
Page 199.
trick.
You know what it is? It's an Easter egg.
Yeah. That's what you want out of great literature.
And you say you share a story about something that you heard him say or he said earlier that you've never shared before. What was that?
Which one?
Yeah. No idea. Again, he's an idiot. He's an idiot. He's a fool. He can't even repeat what's in his own book, that moron. This is a softball of all softballs. You know in your book how you did the trick about Brady?
And you tell a story about him on page 199.
Right. In the book that you wrote that you're promoting that no one's buying, that's a complete failure. He's an idiot. Which one? The story you wrote. The book in front of you. Why don't you turn to page 199 and read it for us? Which story about Tom Brady? The one you wrote, idiot. Not pick out a story from 20 years. The one in your book that I'm referencing. I only read the thing. He didn't read it either. My assistants read. My researchers read the thing. They know. You don't. Moron.
Which one?
With that smack, that buying time smack. He's like Beetlejuice. Who? Like, you know how Beetlejuice would go, who?
Me?
Me? Like that's his smack. It's his going me. It's his buying time for his brain to kick in.
Hanging around.
He's Beetlejuice. He's Belichick juice. Bellajuice.
Bellajuice.
He's Bellajuice.
Feet first.
Feet first, Belichick. Who, me? The buying time
Which
smack.
one?
Now. No more buying time. I see what you're doing.
Brady's story.
Which one?
The one about in the hallway would have scored 40.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look, after every game, Tom always was, we left a lot of points on the field. We can be better. We might win by 30, and it'd be like, we could have won by another 20. I missed this pass. We missed that play. He's always striving for perfection. And think about Tom, and you think about improvement, that's really what football's about. You play once a week. You got 6 days to prepare, 6 days to improve and get ready for the game. Tom Brady was a fourth-string quarterback. I mean, who has a fourth-string quarterback and ended up being the greatest player, of all time? And so that's a lot of work, that's a lot of dedication, and that's a lot of commitment and discipline. So, he's really the poster boy for improvement and consistency.
And the GOAT.
Good story. That, you know what? I know why Strahan asked him now. That is a good story. That time in the hallway when
there's no beginning, middle, or end.
Because sometimes we'd win a game and Brady said we could have won by more. Oh, tell that one, Bill.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah, Bill, that's why you're here.
I read it and I was so engrossed and I wanted to tell it, but you tell it.
In fairness to Strahan, maybe that's the most interesting story in the book.
That's a good point.
Like, seriously, they have researchers that read it, and then they give you like a dossier of like questions to ask. And the researchers who do this for a living obviously pulled that story out. I don't even put that on Strahan. I have a feeling I'm not going to like Michael Strahan very much after this, but I don't even put that on Strahan. Maybe that's the most interesting thing in the book.
Well, we all know what people are talking about when it comes to Bill Belichick. It's what we've been talking about. It's what Pablo Torre is making, his life's work right now. So, it's a lot about the book, a lot about football, a lot about UNC. Oh, and Belichick talks about having to, make the transition from pros to college and the hash marks, learning where those are in the field. He mentions that in the interview. Finally, we'll get to what everybody is watching this for. At the end, this is what we all came here for.
I mean, college kids are learning, but you've had a transformation since your coaching days with the Patriots. You've done some things I never thought I'd see you do before. You had gigs on TV. You're putting your personal life out on social media. Now you went back to college to coach. So what would the Patriots Bill Belichick say to the UNC Bill Belichick? What kind of advice would you have if you had any?
Again, for me, it's all about learning. I learn every day, and I've learned so much being back in the college environment with whether it be recruiting, the college game, the rules, the hash marks, some strategy, and just putting a team together. But I've learned a lot. I learn every day. I've got a great staff. Michael Lombardi's done a great job for me in terms of bringing the personnel side of it together and us having a shared vision, kind of like we had in the NFL. We have a coach, general manager model. And so that's been great as well to work with him and to, go through the process of, reacclimating to a little bit of it. Football's still football, but there's certainly some differences. And it'll be interesting to see how the whole house settlement comes out with what the rules are exactly with roster size and compensation for the players, NIL and all that.
There's a clock running in his head that this is that filibuster. And I can get out of this.
100. He's taken as much time as he can to answer this, and he's being very eloquent here and giving a very long answer to a very short question. So, all right, let's get to it, Michael.
And trying to figure out how to maximize, giving the players the financial rewards they deserve, at the same time maintaining the competitive balance on your team. Like we had to do with salary cap in the NFL.
Yeah, and I know that a lot has been made also in the professional life, but also your personal life, because it's spilled over into your professional life in a lot of ways, and a lot has been made about your relationship with Jordan Hudson. It's been getting a lot of attention. She isn't here this morning.
Ooh.
Hey,
now.
That answers one of our questions.
I've been proven wrong.
Huh.
It's been getting a lot of attention. She isn't here this morning, but what do you think about all the attention that your relationship has been getting?
Yeah, well, she's been terrific, through the whole process, and she's been very helpful to me. She does the business things that don't relate to North Carolina that come up in my life, so I can concentrate on football.
Well, she's not doing a very good job of that, in that everyone's hanging on to hear what you have to say about her, because she's bought $8 million worth of properties, and that she's blown up your legacy. Your family's concerned, reportedly. They're digging into how this Ring camera footage of you shirtless walking around. What's more embarrassing, the Ring camera footage or the Crypt Keeper makeup he had on today at Good Morning America? That's a good question. That is a Sophie's choice if there was one.
And that's really what I want to do. You know, I acknowledged her in the book. She was very helpful on that with the tribute pages and also giving a perspective of the book from kind of a business side. You know, sometimes I get a little football technical, and so, you know, she did a good job of keeping me on balance there.
Yeah, it's very balanced.
When you go to the business side, always turn to the 19-year-old that you met that may or may not have a degree in philosophy. That's who you turn to. Is he so dumb that this is like that? Like I needed someone to handle my business, so I took this teen that I was banging and decided to put her in charge.
And this is obviously the agreed upon line and course of action. She handles my personal business affairs. She has nothing to do with football. The statement from University of North Carolina. Jordan is not an employee of University of Carolina Athletics. She is welcome to Carolina football facilities. She will continue to manage all activities related to Bill Belichick's personal brand. All right, so what are the talking points? Again, everybody, hey, everyone, listen. She manages the personal side, nothing to do with football. Bill just said it again. He said it on ESPN yesterday. He's saying it again here this morning. These are the agreed-upon talking points. She handles my personal brand. She has nothing to do with football. All right, Michael, ask a real question now.
So what did Jordan mean to you?
Well, we have a good personal relationship. And, you know, I'm not talking about personal relationships, Michael. You know that.
Well, no, I don't know that. That's what I want to
But you
hear.
are talking about them. You're putting yourself out there in a way that you never have before, in a way that has become, let's be honest, Bill, a distraction to both your football program in your life as you try and promote this book. This has become a distraction. What changed? Your mantra used to be no distractions. Why is this distraction not only being welcomed now, but being embraced?
Why did you put her in charge of all this? What qualifies her to be in charge of all these things? People are worried about your cognitive functioning. Things have gone so wrong. You and I, just off the top of our heads.
Didn't take very long.
No.
I'm letting Hardy take the ball in this one.
Oh, I like it.
I like hearing his thoughts on
I like this.
Well, we have a good personal relationship. And, you know, I'm not talking about personal relationships, Michael. You know that.
Okay, I know that, Coach. But I'm saying, are you happy?
Yeah.
Who cares? I'm not. Is this what the interview is?
Are you happy?
We're going to have Bill Belichick on today to find out if he's happy. No, we're going to find out to see if he has lost it, to see if he has given control of his life and his finances over to a 24-year-old who might be a grifter. We're going to ask him these things. We're going to ask him if it continues to deteriorate and distract. Do you think you might be out of a job before week 1 of college football season? No, we're going to ask him if he's happy.
Boy, what a pussy. Like, he just pussied out of that thing.
Mad
you
Dog's
wouldn't
not going to be
believe.
happy about this.
As little as we thought we would get out of Strahan, like, is he going to go after him? He better. He did nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
You know why? Because it's hard.
It's even worse.
Because it's hard.
It's hard to do.
It's because it's hard and it's uncomfortable. You don't have to be a dick, but you have to, like, get into it. You can do it in a way that's not confrontational, but when he says, I don't want to talk about my personal life, go, well, that's what everyone's talking about, Bill, and you manifested this. Like, people, you are the one that made this front and center. You've taken her out to these very public affairs. She's putting your relationship up on social media. She's involved with your business. You thank her in the book. She got involved with that CBS interview. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ, Strahan. I mean, you're not, like, poking around in his bushes. I mean, all this it's in all the papers today.
You look happy.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see you doing yoga. Only happy people do yoga, Coach. Only happy people do yoga. Well, I know a lot's been made about all of this, and I just hope that the focus gets back on you and if you're happy, we're all happy for you.
I appreciate it, Mike.
And I wish you well at UNC. Good luck this year coaching, and the art of winning. You know a lot about that. And I appreciate you being here this morning.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. Thanks a lot.
All right, Coach. The Art of Winning is available now. Make sure you go out and check it out, George.
Thank you, Michael. That was interesting.
No, it wasn't interesting. It's very far from interesting.
It was the least least interesting the thing I could imagine based on any expectation of that interview. Not interesting, not good.
I wonder if you're the producer of Good Morning America. They can't be. I mean, if you've been pimping that thing.
Well, that sucked, Michael. What did we talk about beforehand? You had to ask him a couple of real questions. Let me see your questions.
Are you happy?
I demand to see the paper.
I never thought I'd see you doing yoga. Silence. Well, you're happy, and I wish you luck at UNC.
Hey, if you're happy, we're all happy.
No, we're not. His happiness has nothing to do with my happiness.
Zero.
No, I don't want him to be happy necessarily. I want this to continue and him to continue embarrassing himself. But I don't care about his happiness.
Can't wait for the folks to be on North Carolina football. Because anybody cared about that before? That was a thing?
Yeah, I mean, because all the past coaches of North Carolina football have been featured on Good Morning America.
Yeah.
It just comes with the job.
You know what? If I saw that interview, I'm calling Coach Belichick. I want to go play for that guy.
Well, first of all, I'm buying the book. That's first of all.
Got to buy the book, and then I'm going to make a phone call. If I'm a high school junior and I'm a top 50 recruit, that's exactly who I want to call right now.
I'll go back on what I said. I will go buy the book now so I can read that Brady story myself. The one where he said we could win. We only won by 30. We could have won by 40. I missed that pass.
I bet you Strahan, because he was like clumsy at the end. I bet you his brain, because he was like having trouble talking at the end. His brain was telling him, "Wow, you flubbed that. You screwed that up pretty bad."
Garbage, hot steaming pile of garbage.
I'm just gonna do this for an exercise because I've been in this position before. Now I don't know if I've ever softballed an interview this bad, but listen to him talk at the end and how he's like, because his brain. His thoughts are all, his conscious mind is all saying, "Wow, you screwed up. It's the end. This sucks." Listen to him.
We're all happy for you.
I appreciate it, Mike.
And I wish you well at UNC. Good luck this year coaching and the art of winning. You know a lot about that. And I appreciate you being here this morning.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. Thanks a lot.
All right, Coach. The art of winning is available now. Make sure you go out and
Yeah, his brain is telling him the whole time, like, you really dropped the ball on this stupid. Well,
yeah.
Good job.
Excellent job.
Good job, ABC. Good job, GMA. Good job, Michael Strahan. Good job, everybody.
You know it's a bad interview when CBS This Morning has lapped you completely. Somehow this one ain't going viral, Michael. Oh, you had the world in your hands and you dropped it. He didn't even have to be a dick. And actually, he could have asked questions that helped Belichick. Like if Belichick answered him like a human being and was like, "Look, I'm in love. What can I tell you? I'm in love." Women would be like, "Oh, that's sweet." No, maybe not. But, it couldn't have hurt.
No.
Stand up on the couch like Tom Cruise. I'm in love. I'm in love.
I'm in love. I love her.
I love women.
I love women, and I love it. I love it. She loves my old body and my boobs slapping in the face as I thrust. She loves my old flabby old man ass as I push inside of her. Whee! All right, very good. Well, that sucked. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening Dutcher and Hardy continues on the Sports Hub.
I can only speak for myself. I'm not sure about the rest of the guys, but what I will say is I appreciate the fans that showed up tonight. You know, it was a great atmosphere. It was loud, you know, and I know it's easy to kind of write things off. Obviously, unfortunate what happened to JT, but we still got basketball to be played. You know, I believe in this group, so, you know, don't count us out just yet.
Hey, we're Dutcher and Hardy. Cedric Maxwell is the Celtics color analyst on the 98.5 The Sports Hub Celtics Radio Network. Boston Celtics playoff coverage on 98.5 The Sports Hub is presented by Charles D. Sheehy. For over 70 years, Charles D. Sheehy has been your local leader for pipes, valves, and fittings. CDS can offer you the solutions needed to keep your project moving. Cedric, I take it you are in New York City right now. Hello.
Yes, I am at the Ritz here in New York City. It is a beautiful time to be here, and I'm excited about the prospects of tonight. Listen to Brown, what he said, that was really on point. Like, you know, I think everybody has counted this team out. I've always said this part. In the short term, you can survive an injury like that for a team. It's the long-term prospects of winning the championship, which make it a lot more difficult without having him.
Right. So you don't count them out in this series because they'll certainly feel the Tatum injury, but that's something that might manifest itself later in the playoffs or next year. It might not be the case against New York. How much was the different style that the Celtics played, if they did at all play a different style, and the Knicks' inability to prepare for it? How much do you think that affected Game 5?
What you saw was more ball movement, and the ball wasn't stagnant. One sequence in particular, Luke goes down and who was brilliant. Luke goes down and blocks a shot, comes down on the other end. The Celtics run a figure 8. He sets a pick for Hauser. He rolls to the basket, wide open, gets a dunk. When you have Tatum and you have Brown together, sometimes the ball sticks. And not to be different and not to be difficult, but when you have more ball movement, sometimes you get easier shot opportunities. And more people got involved in that particular game when you saw them versus the Knicks.
Okay, so what do you give Thibodeau 2 days to now that he's seen it? Is that an advantage for the Knicks? Like, do you think they'll defend it better? Is that something that can be planned for?
This has pretty much been like they're not playing checkers. This is a chess match. And both teams are countering with different things. What does Thibodeau have? I mean, he's used pretty much the same unit. In the last game, you think about how the Celtics defended. Anunoby, he was not effective at all shooting. Bridges, who had been lights out, could not knock down shots in Boston. The Celtics did a great job defensively, and even to the point where Jalen Brunson said, I don't foul out of the game. You know, that's the arrogance of, I've heard that before. That was LeBron James saying that, I don't foul out. Everybody fouls out except Wilt Chamberlain. So I think there were situations that the Celtics did a lot of different things and came at them. And the Knicks are going to have to counter maybe by, maybe trying to adjust their defense a little bit more with quicker people on the floor.
Max, can Luke Cornett give the Celtics, I don't think he'll have another game like he did a couple of nights ago.
Hater.
Yeah, I know. Do you think he can give them 70% of that? And does Joe Mazzulla start him tonight?
Oh, I love that. I'm going to have to use that when Sean is talking, going, hater.
Yeah, just a hater.
That's right.
I love that.
Yeah.
No, I think what's going to happen tonight, I think you're going to start Porzingis. And you're going to see if he gives you anything. And if you don't, all the people have been screaming about, Joe doesn't make any adjustments. Well, immediately when Porzingis came in, didn't play well, Joe went to the backup guy. And the backup guy played well. Can Luke do that again? I would doubt to affect a game like that. You're talking about 5 blocks in a quarter, something which hadn't been done in a while. But I think what you'll have is better ball movement, and the fact that Sam Hauser is back gives you a little bit more flexibility offensively because now you can't be as stagnant. The floor has to be a little bit more wide open because you have to account for him.
So how much of that ball movement comes, Max, do you think, from, playing a game, the first game in a while that you played without Jason Tatum, out of necessity? And the thing that I fear might happen tonight, if the Celtics don't have a big lead, either Jaylen Brown or maybe Derek White or somebody feels the need to take the game on their shoulders and to kind of take over, and they stop moving the ball around because they need to score and they figure I'm the best guy to do it. So, number one, what's the reason for that better ball movement that we saw in the last game, and do you think they can keep doing that tonight?
To move the ball, I think it isn't as difficult to do that because it doesn't stick. I mean, and Tatum has been brilliant with, throughout his career and, ISO one-on-one. But what you have sometimes is a lot of people watching instead of moving.
Yes.
Even with Brown has done the same thing. So if you have two guys who are dominant with the ball, everybody else watches, not as enough body movement.
Right.
I think what you have now with one guy out there, you saw in the last game, more body movement, more assists, guys moving around. And one thing you saw was Brown being dominant. People don't talk about the Finals MVP like that. He was dominant in that game. I have my brother-in-law who hates him. I said, boy, Brown had a brilliant game. He's like, no, he didn't. I said, I want to use the same thing, hater.
It was hating.
Hater.
I was like, man, what game are you watching? Then he started talking about him and his girlfriend. They were watching the game. I said, when's the last time I saw you or your girlfriend in any NBA uniforms or on any NBA staff? So I think that people see sometimes what they want to see. Great movement, great defense. And I think that can be duplicated again tonight here in New York. All the pressure right now is on the Knicks. It's not really on the Celtics. And that's the best thing about it because everybody essentially has written the Celtics off.
Yeah.
So Fred, Max says all the pressure's on the Knicks tonight.
Yeah, that's not what you said yesterday, Fred.
You said I was ridiculous for bringing that up.
I didn't say that saying there's pressure on the Knicks was ridiculous in so much is that every game now there's talk of flip-flopping all around about pressure. There's pressure in every game. Exactly. Cedric, I just don't believe there needs to be a narrative. Things get very dramatic and maudlin, around these playoff games.
You called Wallach a stupid idiot for saying the Knicks had all the pressure on him.
I took personal offense tonight. Thanks for backing me up, Max.
Well, he is an idiot.
You know what? Here's what I believe. I understand what he's saying about, the whole thing about pressure and not pressure. But if you're the Celtics right now, you lose your best player. And people have discounted you already. And you lost these games. Everybody says there was no hope. That's what Jaylen Brown was talking about. He said, let's appreciate the fans who were there, how loud they were, what they brought to the table, and the fact that, we're going to try to do the same thing. So, and he said there's a lot of basketball to be played. If you're the New York Knicks and you have a 3-1 lead, and as I've said before to my good friend Bernard King, who started going to, oh, you guys are done, keep your head up. I said, my friend, let me tell you this. Tell the Knicks fans to act like they've been there before. And then I chime in and go, oh, they haven't. So the pressure is going to be squarely on the Knicks to finish this thing tonight and not have to go back to the Garden.
Yeah, that's a disaster. If they have to go to the Garden for a Game 7, first of all, you're a big dog in that game, I would imagine. They're a favorite tonight, but you're a dog in that game. And the only reason I mentioned that is that, I would expect the Celtics to win that Game 7. And then there's a tremendous amount of pressure on the Knicks because if you lose this series, it's an all-timer. You're up 3-1. They lost their Hall of Fame player, and you can't take this game. Game 7, I will allow that narrative, gentlemen.
Oh, thank you. That's really good.
You have a pass to use that narrative for a Game 7.
Very good.
Hater.
Absolutely. Who's the most annoying celebrity at the Knicks games? Is there anyone that you look at and it makes your skin crawl that you're like, oh, sit down or something like that?
I think probably, all the Knicks fans, but probably if anybody, and I said this to Larry Johnson, I said this to Patrick Ewing, I said, damn it, tell John Starks he's not in the game. He's on the baseline. He's always, I'm like, dude, sit down.
I know. We were just talking about it yesterday.
You're not involved in the game in that way.
Yeah.
I can understand the common fan like Spike Lee. Spike is who he is. Passionate about the
Pays
game.
for the tickets.
The Knicks, all that. Yeah, I love. Took a couple of pictures with Spike. When I was walking out on the floor, we got here last week, he was like, cornbread. I'm like, who was calling me? It was Spike Lee. And he always tells me, first thing he tells me, name dropper. And first thing he says to me is, Max, you still can't guard Bernard King. I said, dude, that was 40 years ago. What are you talking about?
He's finding common ground with you. He's trying.
Yeah, I hope I can guard him now. I think I could guard him now. So,
right.
So yeah, that's if I was saying one, it would probably be John Starks.
Yeah, because John Starks missed that shot in that Game 6.
Game 6 of the finals. Should have beaten him. Yeah.
For some reason, he's a legend in New York, but he ultimately failed the team.
Yeah, he was like 0 for a million in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. We missed all those shots in that game, but hey, he was there to take them, and you know his legend will always be, as they say, the dunk.
Yeah.
When he dunked on Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
that picture will always resonate with fans. I think that's one of the disadvantages, even with the Celtics right now, is the fact that we look at all our old timers and all the people who loved the Celtics during the 80s when I were there. They want the game to be played the same way, and it can't be. It's not. This is a different style. The people who love JoJo White's team, who are still living right now, want the game to be played like that. It's not. Even Paul Pierce's group, the game is not played like that anymore. So there's almost a disadvantage to being with a great organization who's won a lot of championships, because you can go back and start thinking about this stuff. The Knicks go back to 1973.
Yeah.
I was still in high school.
Yeah.
So their look and their vision is completely different.
Max, who needs to have a night tonight? If it's too much to ask for Luke Cornett to have another 7-block game and to have all the impact that he did, who does it need to be tonight in order for the Celtics to win?
I'm going to hate to do this commercial, but I do it all the time. What can Brown do for you? Brown has to be the same way, the facilitator, setting the table, controlling the initial point of attack. Jaylen Brown, everybody said, well, Jaylen he can't pick up all these things that Tatum. He has to do all these he has to be a different player. In the last game, he had 12 assists. He had 8 rebounds. He scored, and he didn't have as many turnovers. He has to be the same type of player to put pressure on the opposition and defending the right way. That is what has to happen in this game. Drew Holiday was pretty good in that game. So you had a lot of different pieces that stepped in and played well. But what happens, gentlemen, if you're able to get something from Kristoff? If he's able to come out and knock down a couple of shots and be effective, that puts more pressure right now on the Knicks. So I'm hoping the Celtics come out and they play well, and I hope they don't come in and poop the bed. That's all I'm hoping for, to give the Knicks a scare. And I would love to see those people trembling in their boots instead of going, nah, 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 hey. They get another song, please. Jesus.
I know. It's so lame, and it's like a cool city, right? Like, and there's cool people there, but the Knicks fans are so annoying. There's like no cynicism. They're like all dorks. Like you expect this sophisticated urban cynicism from them, and you get none of it. It's just this gap
the
mouth.
Song that they go into is ridiculous. They're going back to a song that was in the 60s.
Yeah.
They're going back that far. Jeez, I was in grade school when they started doing that song, chanting at people when they went to the game or leaving. So there wasn't any imagination for the Knicks fans as much as I think the Celtic fan base has always been a lot more sophisticated. And the Knicks, I think, again, because they hadn't been there before, I think they look at it as they see the light of this game in a whole nother prism.
Yeah, it's disappointing. It really is. Well, Cedric, thank you as always. Always great to talk to you. The game is tonight. Cedric will be on the call with Sean Grandy. Cedric, thanks so much, man. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you, gentlemen. Hopefully the Celtics come back with a victory. And I'm just saying, please, if they do anything, just get a game 7 just to put some. I'd love to see a stain in the Knicks' pants if they came to the guard.
That would be funny. All right, Cedric, thanks so much.
Thanks,
all right. Adolfo is here.
Hey.
We've been talking to him off air. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
We were just talking about this. Celtics had last night off, but they visit the Knicks tonight for Game 6 of their Eastern Conference semifinal playoff series, down 3-2. Sean Grandy and our guest, Cedric Maxwell, have the pregame at 7:30 and the tip-off at 8 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Boston Globe was the first to report yesterday. The sale of the Celtics to a group led by William Chisholm has been finalized. It needs approval by the NBA owners. Red Sox had last night off. They opened up a 3-game weekend series with Atlanta at Fenway Park tonight. Patriots defensive
If your alarm clock sounds like this is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, the Sports Hub.
Oh, yeah. Be listening at the end of this segment on the Toucher and Hardy show for a chance to see Colin Jost at MGM Music Hall at Fenway. Huh? Jost.
You know that's not how it's pronounced, you silly goose.
I swear to God, I didn't know I did something wrong.
Are you serious? Are you being serious right now? It's Colin Jost.
Oh, okay. I never talked about it.
I didn't know who you were talking about.
I thought it wasn't fooling around. I'm terrible with that. Hardy thinks I'm putting on...
you usually are, yes.
Yeah.
But I thought in that particular case, because it's an SNL guy, you knew.
Now that I think of it, Colin Jost, yes. And what's funny is that I would love to have him as a guest because I read that Lorne Michaels book and they had a writer for the first time ever that got to be part of, sat in for a week, and Jost is the head writer.
Yeah.
And I got a million questions.
Yeah, we're
They'd
working
probably
on
bore
it.
everyone.
I do too. The rumor is that he and Michael Che will be leaving as of this weekend. This will be their final weekend update. That's the rumor, that they're going. Heidi Gardner, Mikey Day, and one other cast member I can't think of right now. Keenan's always might leave, might not, and ends up coming back. But
it's interesting. I didn't know that, but it's interesting because the hesitation to leave now is there's no money to be made outside of Saturday Night Live because they're not making comedy anymore.
Right.
So, I almost feel an obligation to go see that movie Happiness.
I was going to ask you about that.
I don't know when it comes out.
I think it's select theaters this weekend, and then it comes out.
Okay, because it's not playing around.
Yeah.
It's not in Dedham, Chestnut Hill, or West Newton Cinema.
I'll go see it with you. I want to see that.
Well, Zoe wants to see it.
Oh, okay.
As well. I mean, you can come. I don't mind. But it's the Tim Robinson movie.
What's
Tim
it
Robinson
called?
for I Think You Should Leave. Happiness.
Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
And
was
it's
the
a
name
rated
of the
R
movie.
comedy.
Yeah.
And so, you almost have an obligation if you're a comedy fan to go see it. Because it's almost like Adam's Act of Charity for bands. If you want to see things that aren't superhero movies in theaters, if you care,
got to support the scene.
You got to support the scene.
Friendship.
Oh, friendship.
Yeah.
Not
I'm like,
happiness,
what
friendship.
happiness? What the hell?
I don't know. I got up at 3 this morning. What do you want out of me? I don't know. My brain's not working. Colin Jost. I apologize. I should have known that, and I can see how that would have been looked upon as an affectation. But I am truly that dumb and absent-minded.
Hey, it's at the Coolidge Corner Theater.
It is? This weekend?
Today.
Yeah.
You want to go at 2, 405, 5, 730, 9, or 9:55?
Does that mean it's not going to play at West Newton?
It'll play at West Newton. It's just I think they're doing the art houses this weekend, and then
West Newton's an art house.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's all it is.
Oh, right.
It's also at Landmark Kendall Square.
Yeah.
And AMC Boston Common.
Oh, so it is in theaters.
Okay.
Ah, Jesus Christ. Now I got to go to Coolidge Corner to
Got
go
a full
see it.
dance card this weekend with the Bim Scala Bim and the Friendship movie.
I guess I'll take Zoe to it tonight. I got to go to Fenway to go see a movie.
I wouldn't do that. I would go to,
Coolidge Corner can freak you out. If you're in that super big theater, that's too much.
You might actually be best going to Kendall Square.
Yeah,
because there's parking there.
I'm not parking there. I'm taking a lift if I go to
No,
Kendall
it's nowhere near Fenway. It's Coolidge Corner, Kendall Square,
Or Kendall Square.
or
Yeah.
AMC Boston Common.
I would go to Kendall Square.
I thought it was.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
good
going
theater.
to. I'll go, well, it's easy. I could essentially, if I wanted to make an outing of it, walk to the Coolidge Corners Theater. So that would be the one I went to. But then I'm going to have to deal with that art house screen, which is very, very large. It's a huge screen in that big old theater. I mean, it's a beautiful theater, but it's a lot.
Too big, too much going on, too just.
Well, I feel like a loser sometimes because when you see a movie there, there could be 200 people there, but it seems empty. You're sitting there, you feel very alone.
I saw Eraserhead there. You love that one, Fred. It's your favorite, Eraserhead.
Yeah, so you pretended to like it in person. Okay.
I love David Lynch, but I will never sit through Eraserhead again.
His explanation of Eraserhead is not satisfactory either.
None of his explanations are satisfactory. It's meant to be that way.
Yeah, but that's a convenient, no need for a narrative when you just say, well, it's a dream and you should interpret it any way you want. That's a way of just not having a fluid narrative. It's just a way of just saying, here's just a bunch of abstraction that I'm putting on a
Yeah.
screen,
In
which
that
is
case,
fine.
yes.
Which is fine, but but I don't believe anyone likes that movie. I truly don't. Just like I don't believe anyone likes Sonic Youth.
I was just going to say, it's the Sonic Youth of film.
No one vacuums their floor listening to Sonic Youth.
Everyone says they own a Sonic Youth album, and maybe they do, but they don't listen to it.
Word up. When they had Chuck D on the thing.
That's right.
Word up.
Tell it like it is.
Tell it like it is. And they're dicks, too, which doesn't help things. All
Kim's
right.
nice, but yeah, Thurston, not so much.
Well, no, and the drummer's the worst out of all of them.
Oh, yeah.
He attacked
heard.
Nardwuar twice.
Yep. Jerk.
All right. We will be back. Even though Nardwuar was a huge dick I just watched this Meet Me in the Bathroom documentary, and Nardwuar was not uncharacteristically mean to Julian Casablancas. From the Strokes. It was
Off-brand.
kind of odd.
Yeah.
Because he was making fun of him for going to a Swiss boarding school, and you could tell it was making Julian uncomfortable. And then it reminded me of all the interviews I did back then and how I made the Strokes uncomfortable by making fun of them for being rich, and then I felt bad.
I was going to say, in Nardwar's defense, that's worth making fun of.
No, I did as well. I remember the guitar player getting really mad at me and going, I don't want that to be the narrative. And I'm like, well, then what do you want to be the narrative? And he's like, the music. And I'm like, well, there's more to you than the music. You're a vibe, man. You're a fashion statement.
Those Stroke shows in Vegas, it was everyone from L.A. would come in for those. It was a whole scene, man.
I saw the Strokes in L.A. because it was a whole scene that they flew everyone in for. Caller number 10 to the contest line, 617-931-0985. We'll score a pair of tickets to Colin Jost at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway on Saturday, August 9th. Tickets go on sale today at 11 a.m. via Ticketmaster. We will return. Adolfo is here. There's so much going on. It's very exciting. Adolfo's in for the big podcast live show of the Doughboys. We will have all that for you in a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, where our...
again attempt to extend their season when they visit the Knicks for Game 6 of their second-round playoff series. The Green are down 3-2. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7:30 and the tip-off at 8 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Boston Globe was also the first to report yesterday that the sale of the franchise to a group led by William Chisholm has been finalized. It now only needs to be approved by the other team owners. Out west, Denver forced a Game 7 with Oklahoma City late last night with a 119-107 home win. Red Sox had last night off. They're back home to play Atlanta tonight. Garrett Crochet opposes Chris Sale. Patriots defensive lineman Christian Barmore told the media yesterday he's been medically cleared for football activity this spring. He's expected to be ready for Week 1. And in golf, round 2 of the PGA Championship is underway in Charlotte. Jonathan Vegas of Venezuela has the lead. He shot 7 under 64 yesterday and has just teed off for his second round. He's got a 2-shot lead on Cam Davis and Ryan Gerard. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Rodenheiser Home Services. Rodenheiser is now offering $200 off any landscape lighting package so you can enjoy your outdoor space after sunset. Book a consultation now through June 30th at Rodenheiser.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Listen to it, laugh at it, get mad at it, agree with it, argue about it. It is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
It's called rising and grinding.
Start your
Got your finger on the pulse, Fred. Seldom right and never wrong.
Right here. Is that toucher or is that target?
Kinda looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass. It's on YouTube if you want to see Adolfo. Our friend Adolfo Gonzalez is here. And you, Adolfo, are in town for what?
I'm here to see the Doughboys at the Wilbur. Tickets are still available. Buy them at birdpluck.com.
Are you getting a cut of the door?
Yeah, I know. You've really gone all in on promoting these guys.
Yeah, they asked. I want to do a favor. Yeah, why not?
They asked for you to come on the air and promote the show.
No,
again?
no. They didn't ask that.
Yeah,
I did that on my own.
I don't think that they asked you.
No.
Well, Dolphy, you just said they asked you.
No. Well, the Wilbur reached out to see if I could post something on my social. But, I figured go the next step.
Is the Wilbur giving you a cut?
No.
Free drinks, you're going to take advantage of that, I would hope.
Well, not like last time.
No. Well, listen, you got to get your money's worth. It's like flying first class. Okay, so you were in town. Last time you were in town, I put you up in a hotel.
Uh-huh.
And you kept extending your stay. You were staying with people. What is your arrangement this week?
Well, this week I figure I save some money and be a little bit more central into the city. So I'm sitting at a hostel near North Station. So, yeah, it's a very interesting hostel because it's not like a dorm situation. It's like I'm basically sleeping in like a capsule. Like it's hard to describe, but I'm basically my bed's in almost like a closet.
Okay, how old are you?
I am 38.
Okay, and what is the average age of the people at the hostel?
Yeah. First question.
Well, there's some people there my age, for sure, backpackers and
serial killers, vagabond hobos.
Well, there's one guy who was falling asleep on the couch in the main area, but no, it's fine.
How did you know there was a hostel?
Well, I looked up hotels in the area and I saw this one. Oh wow, this seems like a really great price. And then
how much is it?
It was somewhere around $79 a night.
Okay.
So yeah,
and it's in the city?
It's in the city. Yeah, I figure it's better than bothering a friend and crashing on their couch.
Of course, yeah, because you want to stay in a hostel. How? What's the security like there? Do you have a roommate?
I have several roommates.
So you're sleeping in the same room with a lot of people?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, and there's a shared bathroom, I would take it. You don't have your own bathroom.
Well, there's multiple shared bathrooms, 3 showers, 3 bathrooms.
And how many people are at the hostel?
Well, this time around, it seems I don't know how busy it gets, but it wasn't that much. There was not a line for the bathroom.
Now, do you guys talk before you go to sleep? How does that work?
No, it's not like that. It's just everybody kind of keeps their head down, keeps themselves.
It's very much like prison.
I'm sure it is. I've never been.
Are they bunk beds?
There's a couple of bunk beds, yeah.
So it's like when you go to county jail. They put you in a big room with a bunch of other people. So you could leave, so it's not in jail in that sense.
Yeah.
But when you go to sleep at night, it's the same thing as going to jail. You are in bunk beds, like cots, with strangers, and who knows what they're up to.
It's actually very comfortable. Like you can.
What do you
adjust
do
the
with your
bed.
belongings? Is there a lockbox that you can put those in?
Great question.
I have a lock. I brought my own lock. So
what do you lock them in?
In my backpack. So yeah, like I put the more pricey valuables in. I lock those up. But yeah, there is a locker below the bed where you can just lock up all your stuff.
Now, do you bring
So,
your
yeah.
own sheets, or do they have sheets?
No, they have housekeeping. They do the linens and everything. Yeah.
Is the locker bolted to the floor, or could someone pick up the locker and take it with them if they wanted to?
It's like part of the bed. So like they wouldn't be able to take the locker with them.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So, have you talked to anyone else who's staying there?
No, not really. Like I just spend most of the time there just catching up on sleep because.
So you're able to sleep just with people coming in and out of the room.
I have my own earbuds where I can sleep through them, and I just put on like white noise on like YouTube, and I was able to fall asleep. I pay for the premium, so I get no ads.
Okay, so when did you get
Pays
into
for the
town?
premium, but stays at a
Premium
hostel.
YouTube.
Gotcha.
It comes in handy.
YouTube. All of a sudden, that dump I put you in last time you were here looks pretty nice, huh? At least you had your own bathroom.
Actually, I like this place a lot better.
Wow, really?
Why? Because what's cool is that in the bed, you can like right next to you, there's the charging ports. You can like adjust the bed. You like have your own little like
There's other
room
people. There are also people that need a $70 a night hotel.
Well, here's the thing about the other people, the other hotel, and I was very grateful. I appreciate it.
I don't take offense that you didn't like the hotel, Adolfo. That's not of my
But it was
concern.
very odd to like be waiting for being picked up from the station and then seeing kids being picked up from the front of the hotel.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't foresee that there would be people living at the hotel either.
Yeah.
But there were people living at the hotel.
Yeah. So, and it definitely.
And it was a real hotel. It wasn't
it was a real hotel,
It wasn't like a motel on the side of the road, like a Ville Repute.
It had its own kitchenette, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, it's like a brand name hotel. I don't even remember, but it doesn't. I don't want to say it anyway. But it was a brand name hotel in Waltham, and Adolfo's right. I dropped them off, and there's like families, like a school bus coming by and picking people up. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
But
and also
it's no hostel. Let's just say that.
it wasn't super close to public transit either.
Well, that's of course, but it was super close to the station, and I was responsible for getting you back, and that's what I was interested in. But all right, so you haven't talked to anyone else at the hostel. There's people your age though.
People my age,
Do they? What do they look like? Are they? Do they look like psychopaths?
No, they look like people who are like just seems like they're backpacking. People who like are really into CrossFit.
Okay, so all right, yeah, you mentioned the backpacking now several times. I
Yeah.
understand like
taking
backpackers
CrossFit
staying at
classes.
hostels in Boulder.
Showering at the Lifetime.
Yeah, it's
bizarre.
If you're in New Mexico or Wyoming, I would expect to see backpackers. What are backpackers doing coming through Boston?
I guess they're people from Europe just kind of like seeing the sights and sounds of Boston.
No,
maybe they're here for the show too.
What I'm asking?
So the high schoolers would not, like high school college kids would not concern me. Like people in their 20s, but I'd have my eye on anyone in their 30s.
I mean,
Because
I'm a
that
pretty
sounds
friendly
like someone
guy.
who's hopping trains. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that the idea that you can sleep in that environment is fascinating.
Actually, this is the best night's sleep I've had in
He
days.
paid for the premium for YouTube for the white noise.
It comes in handy when I had to work on a phone I never worked on before. So yeah, the premium comes in clutch.
I think he might have an attention deficit disorder.
That
he needs
too.
He needs to occupy his brain while he does tasks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Also, like, there's tons of like audiobooks and such. Oh boy, let me tell you, it's great. It's a great resource.
Yeah, there's no question. There's a lot of audio content out there now. So you,
that you can only access through YouTube Premium.
I watched the show on YouTube.
White noise isn't free.
No,
you
couldn't
can't
find
turn
that.
on a fan or get an app. The podcast, those all cost money now.
What do you think white noise is? It's just basically a low frequency noise.
I know what it is because I have a white noise app on my phone and it's free. I don't.
That's what noise canceling is.
I don't pay for white noise.
You're not my dad.
Okay.
But
unfortunate.
all right. So what is on? So tomorrow is the Doughboys.
Doughboys at the Wilbur. Tickets available. BurtPluck.com.
There's still tickets available. Imagine that.
They're limited tickets, so get them while they're still hot.
Right. A baby's handful is what they say sometimes when there's limited tickets available. That's new jargon I learned from John Worcester.
Ooh.
Now, so you're doing that. What is the plan tonight? I feel guilty that I'm not spending time with you.
Oh no, I got plans. Like,
Okay, you do.
Is my buddy Sean's birthday? So,
Okay.
yeah, you know Sean.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's his birthday, so we're probably gonna hang out.
Okay. What are you guys? So, are you going to take him back to the hostel? Is anyone going to feel bad for you and let you stay with them so you don't have to stay at the hostel?
I mean, if I mention it, they probably would offer, but like, so far so good. Yeah, I think if I miss the train or whatever, I'll crash there.
Okay.
Yeah. But no,
I'm worried about you at that hostel, Adolfo.
I'm fine. It's fine. Like I said, I always feel bad about like inconveniencing friends to see if I can crash at their couch.
Yeah.
It's good to see them, but
you're
like
38 years old. You shouldn't be staying in a room with other people in bunk beds. It's too much.
Hotel shouldn't be so much.
How does the bed adjust? You mentioned the adjustable bed. What adjusts?
Boy. It goes up and down, and then you can just. Okay, so the tricky part.
He's in a hospital room.
So here's the tricky part.
That'd be funny
With
if
the
he was at
outlets.
Newton Wellesley Hospital and he didn't know.
The tricky part about getting into the bed is
You can
actually,
press this button and someone comes in, this woman comes in and asks what's wrong.
The tricky part is actually getting into the bed.
The tricky part is they have a car service. You ride in the back on this bed.
So the way the way these
Getting
beds work.
that plastic admission ban off.
Yeah. Was there a wellness check on you?
Well,
No. Okay, go ahead. All right. I
So
don't
the
wanna
way the way it works is that the beds I'm staying in are kind of like these rows of like beds, right?
Yeah.
So and they have this shade where you can have some privacy, right? So
okay.
yeah.
So that's interesting. So you can pull a shade down, and then you people can't see you sleeping.
Right, but the thing is, you can't jump into the bed like you would a normal bed from the sides. You have to
Because of the lice.
No, because they're like walls in between those. So I have to
Because of the police tape?
I actually like legit.
If you want to dodge the blood and semen, look no further.
They clean that.
What
up
if you
every
wanted to bring a
Wednesday.
lady back with you?
Oh, that's not
that would have been very rude. Oh, Adolfo, why not?
But then again, who knows? But
You're
like,
at the Doughboys podcast thing at the Tabernacle. in Atlanta. You're at the Wilbur, and you're I got no sleep. So you're at the Wilbur. And, you're backstage and people are hoisting drinks.
Mm-hmm.
These guys, there's a party. Who knows what could happen?
I mean, yeah, maybe Mitch invites me to the post game. I don't know.
Oh, I have a feeling that they're going to let you in the post. They said that they would let you backstage.
Well, that'd be nice.
You're going to have backstage passes.
Ooh, how neat.
But
yeah, I mean, most things, I like to play it by ear. But if let's say I do, then I'll get a hotel room. If things escalate to that
All right.
point.
David is 70 and he stays at hostels.
Hi,
all the time.
David.
Hey, how you guys doing?
You're
How you
70?
doing? I am 70 years old.
Jesus,
I
you
love
sound
this
very young.
discussion.
You sound very
Thank
young.
you so much. I live in Easton, and I've been to hostels around the country, basically following a band, Magdalena Bay, that I've fallen in love with.
Oh, they're
So
like
I've
a
been
dumb
to-
jam band for stupid people.
Oh, yeah, I love them, love them. Can't, nothing you can say about them that will diss them. So
Are they
I
a
stayed
jam
in
band? They are a
California.
jam band, aren't they?
A jam band? They I don't know what a jam band
Like
is.
the
I
Dead
consider
or
them
like
electronic
Fish or
pop.
Goose, like that kind of thing.
No.
Okay,
not
then
at all.
I'm sorry for lumping you in with
No,
that.
no,
Go ahead.
not at all. Listen to them. They are fabulous.
That's
They're
I
touring
believe.
right now.
As long as they're not a jam band, I have no issue. Go ahead.
No, they're definitely not. So I've been to South Portland. I've been in Pittsburgh. I stayed in San Francisco. I just saw them up
Okay,
in
so
Maine.
when you
They were
stay,
here
but
in
you stay at
Boston.
hostels as a 70-year-old.
I stay at hostels.
Have you
Yes.
ever been yoked or anything? Like, have they ever taken your belongings?
No. In fact, I got to tell you, I have felt as safe in a hostel as I've ever felt in any kind of, commercial place.
All right. Well, that's very odd. By the way, I'm so old and brain dead. I say yoked still.
What band is he following?
Who knows what's going on? with that
Magdalena
guy?
Bay. They're like a pop duo. They're not.
Oh, I know them. Yeah, they're pretty good.
I was just about to say it's probably an act Adolfo is
Oh
familiar.
yeah. They're newish. Yeah.
You get them on YouTube Premium?
Oh yeah. Let me tell you, that algorithm, it's something else.
All right.
Like.
All right. You're going to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do that. I'm worried about. I don't know why I worry about Adolfo. I remember I used to call you
videos
Milo
on
all the
how to
time.
I'm surprised you haven't yet.
I call Adolfo Milo all the time because I almost look at him like a child of mine.
Hey, he made it to the airport. He got a flight here all by himself. He found a place to stay.
I took the bus here.
I get legitimately concerned about him.
Do you get videos how to get rid of staph infections on that YouTube Premium? Because you might
bet
need
you
that
could.
after your weekend in the hospital.
I know you couldn't pay me to even touch those sheets. So you, but you did something that annoyed me that I want to get to right now.
Ooh,
What did I do?
That's a good tease.
So no, it's not a tease. I'm just going to do it now.
right.
It's not worth a tease. He texted me and he goes, "What's the address to the station?" I'm like, "It's on Main Street in Waltham. Google it." All you got to do is Google it.
Well, I didn't
Beasley
know.
Media in Waltham, and it gives you the address. I don't know it off the top of my head. I was out, I was at the doctor, and so then he goes ahead and texts Adam for the address. You didn't even Google it.
No, I didn't. I didn't realize that information would be public.
Adolfo, I think you would have probably obtained it faster if you had Googled it. I was obviously happy to share it with you. I texted you.
Did you
back
think I
right
was being
away.
cagey?
No. You weren't being cagey. No,
I think I know 1075 Main Street.
Yeah,
Correct,
I just Googled Sports Hub Waltham, and the address comes up right away.
Yeah, it's public. It
is public
It's public information. We're
Okay.
we're a NASDAQ traded company.
Ooh, how about that?
The poor man's Dow Jones. All right. Well, look, Adolfo is here. It's very exciting. I always worry about him. You saw how worried I was about his flights and him getting on the flights last time.
Yep, I did.
I mean, I flew in planes before.
Adolfo, you're like a third child to me. And it's not an insult. It's actually a
I
compliment.
appreciate that, but I like
It's
to see it
almost
more of a
like-
little brother
It's
situation.
almost, but fine, then we'll call it a little brother. It's almost instinctual, my need to protect you. I don't know why.
Because I'm so pure.
It's true. Pure Adolfo. There's nothing like mwah, chef's kiss to Pure Adolfo. All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're not my dad.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sport.
The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Adolfo is here. It's exciting times. Adolfo's staying at a youth hostel where he plans on not dying. That is the plan.
It is, but as we just found out from the 70-year-old who called us from Easton, David, it is.
I thought
not,
he said Houston.
No, it was Easton.
I think
Yeah.
he said Easton.
Yeah.
It's not just for the youth; it's for anybody.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. All right. Let's clean up these phone calls as it is a Friday. And Jake, go ahead.
Hardy, I have a bone to pick with you, and actually all of you. So you guys had Pablo on yesterday.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a guy who, Fred, I'm on your side of this story, obviously, but we're talking about a guy who went to Harvard and instead of curing cancer is talking about this. Listen, I could have told you that Jordan was in Bill's mistress seats in 2021. It was on her Facebook account, and I texted it to Zoe 2 weeks ago. And, oh, my God, her mom runs a sex toy shop. But you guys are in morning radio. The first question you should have asked would be, does she sell a Sybian or not? And I know she doesn't because I went there. But instead of calling me, you called Pablo. Oh, well, Fred, you're taking your victory lap. I stuck out a billboard a couple years ago at the height of everyone's brainwashing.
All right. Good. Very good.
Jake in Boston has my phone number. The last text he sent me, I have no idea what he was talking about.
That's one of your leftovers from the midday show that John and I are unfamiliar
Jake
with.
has got some good stuff, but I didn't understand they're all out of context. That Jake's texts come like mid-conversation,
And I also
that we're
don't-
not having.
Yeah, like I don't know him. I don't know what he's talking about. Like, how should I know what he's thinking and what he knows?
They
I
hit
don't.
the ground running type of
You
conversation.
should know.
Yeah.
You brought some strays with you. You brought Sarah from Everett. You brought this guy.
Michelle in South Carolina. Haven't heard from her in a while.
Yeah, like I'm supposed to know how this. I don't know this guy at all.
What the hell is going
Jake
on?
in Boston is the guy who bought the billboard on Route 1 near Foxborough. After they, like Brady left and Bill was faltering. I forget what the
Right.
billboard was. Do you remember this?
I remember buying the billboard. I do not remember the content on the billboard, but it was I told you so type of stuff.
It was obviously very memorable.
It was the owl is no longer wise without his goat. Jake in Boston.
Okay.
BB 62 and 74.
How much did that run him? I wonder.
Well,
How
he's
big of an
obviously got some-
investment is
he's
that?
obviously got some disposable
For I
income.
told you so.
He does. He goes to all the events.
Did he go to WrestleMania?
No, but I saw him. He came up to me at the Masters the one time I went because I think he
Jesus.
goes every year.
Wow. All right.
By the way, if you're following the PGA Championship, it's a who's who of golfers in the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Andrew, go ahead. I know.
Hey, good morning, guys. How's it going?
Hey, good.
Hey, yeah, calling in because a buddy of mine, we went to the BC SMU game in Dallas back in November.
Oh, yeah.
And we're at, Hardy. We were at this little hole-in-the-wall bar, and all of a sudden this stud walks in, and I'm like, hey, I think that's Adolfo. He's like, my buddy's like, who's Adolfo? I'm like, the kid from 98.5. Sure enough, hung out with him for about, I don't know, Adolfo, what, like half hour, 45 minutes?
Yeah, about
This is
45
in
minutes.
Dallas?
This was in Dallas. Yeah.
How often do people recognize you in Dallas?
That was the first time in a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you told the story the last time you were here.
Yeah, I mentioned it. Yeah, like it was kind of weird because it was like, wait, no one knows me here.
All right.
You know?
Well,
But
I'm
yeah.
glad, Andrew, that you
I
had a
was
good
like, Adolfo,
experience.
do your friends even know you're an icon in Boston? Like, you're a legend. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, I
He's
was
like,
hanging out with
"No,
my buddies
really."
that night. Yeah.
Oh, so were his friends impressed? Adolfo, were your friends impressed that this guy knew all
I guess
about you?
his buddy was like kind of like he was wearing like Bruins gear and they were playing the Stars that night, I think, and he really hated. One of my friends hated this guy.
Oh,
yeah.
well,
Also,
that's great news.
A former guest of the show, Tim Cato, was also there.
Huh?
Tim Cato?
Am I on another planet where all these things are I'm supposed to know all these things and I have no idea what anyone's talking?
You talked to him last year about the NBA Finals.
There's Jake from Boston. There's Tim Conway. I don't know any of these
Adolfo
people.
rolled in here at 9 saying, I'm
Dorf
staying in
showed
a
up.
youth hostel. And since then, it's just been a delight.
I got up at 3 this morning, and it was my own fault. I just couldn't sleep, so I'm a little out of it.
Dorf showed up.
And that's why I said Jost instead of Jost.
Yes.
And so I'm a little brain dead. But now I feel like I'm on acid because like everyone's saying things like I'm supposed to know.
The great Tim Cato was there, who is a Mavericks beat writer.
For
So
The Athletic.
Adolfo just assumed we remembered having him on last year.
You probably didn't, but yeah, I just thought it was a happy coincidence.
What?
Three guests a day.
What just happened? Let's end the show now.
We have,
I don't know.
We really had him on.
We got 28 minutes left, Wally. Come
My
on.
God.
we had
Yeah,
a,
you've driven
a
it
beat
into
writer
a
on
wall.
a year ago, literally a year ago.
Yeah,
and
it
I'm
was a
supposed
year
to
ago.
remember the guy. Okay.
Who may or may not have been on the show. He might not have been on the show.
No, he was on the show.
was on the show.
I heard it.
Now I remember because we talked about Adolfo.
Yeah.
Mitch is saying, I don't want to read that. I will read this. Chris says, you can, by the way, follow us on Instagram at Toucher and Hardy. We have millions of views in the last month. It's been quite exciting. So thank you for your supporting that. At Fred Toucher, I don't know how many views, but it's got to be in the trillions if we're in the millions. Hey, Fred, Friendship will be opening wider. This is the Tim Robinson movie. Friendship will be opening wider next weekend, although I'm not sure just how wide since it's an independent movie. Having seen it a couple of weeks ago at the Boston Independent Film Festival, I would highly recommend going this weekend if you can. It's very much in line with the humor of I Think You Should Leave, and I'd be surprised if you didn't enjoy it. I do believe I will take Zoe to see that tonight. But it will be a big outing because we're going to the Coolidge Corner Theater, which is not in my repertoire of theaters.
Oof. What's the soda situation like there?
It's going to be old school, like where they fill the soda.
It's going to be like half syrup, half carbonated water.
Yeah, like that at the West Noon Cinema, where it's like kids.
I've never left to go refill my soda. Now that these places all the places where my son and I mostly go to the movies, but during Thunderbolts, I utilized it for the first time, and it was delightful.
Like, I'll go see anything at a showcase cinema because of they have the machine that mixes the sodas.
Yeah.
Oh, freestyle.
Yeah. And now that I quit drinking, this is excitement for me.
Yeah.
Have you thought about getting one for yourself?
No, because it would ruin it. And then I'd have to fill it. Like, I'd have to buy the boxes of syrup and
Lot of
everything. I've
maintenance.
worked at a restaurant. I don't want to do it again.
Hardy's got a Mountain Dew over there. Is that Diet Hardy?
That must have been a fun night.
That was at the Kowloon.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah.
You could have given me 20 guesses, and I wouldn't have guessed that.
That wasn't when you and Sarge went to Del Frisco's one night together?
Yeah.
No.
Wait, you hung out with
The
Sarge?
Slippery Tea Crew.
Yeah. All right. Pat, go ahead, Pat.
So, Hardy, as the person that blew out eardrums in the '89 Who tour, is it worth seeing those guys again, or when's the last time you saw them after '89?
I just had this conversation the other day as to whether or not they're playing Fenway, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm debating it. I'm not sure.
I'm debating too. Well, number one, I believe I'm going to be a game time decision because I learned this from Fred about buying concert tickets last minute instead of buying them right now for an exorbitant rate and then hanging it over my head all summer long. Oh, don't forget you're going to the Who on the weeknight at Fenway Park, and it's like if I feel like going the day before, that's when I'm going to buy the tickets.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 days before the show.
So 2 days before. But I will say this: the last time I saw him, and I could consult my own Instagram because I took my daughter to see it because I wanted to take her to her first proper concert and have it be the Who, and they were
good call.
They were fantastic. I couldn't believe how good Roger Daltrey sounded. Couldn't believe how good the set list was. Everything about the night was way better than I expected.
They're touring with an orchestra now, I think.
Well, they had an orchestra with them for about half the show, but then the orchestra left the stage for a time, and they did a more stripped down version of Who songs, and then the orchestra came back. So they did everything right.
Yeah. So and see him while you can because Daltrey's going deaf and blind, unfortunately, at the same time. And he's a guy who stayed in tremendous shape. He didn't do drugs he quit drinking at an early age. It's very unfortunate.
I want to say it was the spring of 22.
You know my little factoid from Eddie Trunk, the year of the first Who farewell tour. The first Who farewell
80
tour.
or 81?
It was 82.
Oh,
it was the first Who. I was 7 years old. I'm 50 now. 43 years ago, they did their first farewell tour. I would never give it up either, for numerous reasons. The least of which would be money. I mean, if you have like adoring fans that will come see you and you're just sitting around your house and you know that you could be out playing in front of, 5,000, 6,000 people, 7,000 people, like, wouldn't that be reward enough? Like, I think I would be like, I've been sitting around for 2 years. I could be on stage right now in front of like 8,000 adoring people. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll trek my way around the world and have a weird un-Eddie Trunk signed off on tour like AC/DC. Eddie Trunk very frustrated that their only Northeast stop was at Foxborough.
Oh.
He didn't like that.
Oh, it was almost exactly 3 years ago. It was May 18th, 2022, the last time I saw The Who. But they were great.
He didn't like that there was no Bay Area show for AC/DC.
Yeah.
They just played
That's
Vegas. It's Bush League.
It is.
He was a true fan. He would have hoofed it up here and seen him.
Eddie cannot just on a moment's notice. He's got homes in Vegas and New Jersey, and he is often on the road. He's often on rock cruises, and he went to Japan with Sammy Hagar.
Don't goof on those cruises.
Yeah, Hardy's doing a cruise.
I am doing
Really?
I am doing a cruise. I'm doing the 90s cruise next January. Remember when you guys tried to guess what bands were going to be on the 90s
Oh, yeah,
cruise?
that's right.
You might want to start.
Fred immediately got like three of them like right off the bat.
Where is it leaving from?
I believe the Tampa area.
Of course.
It's going Tampa to the Bahamas.
I mean, it has to be Tampa.
And Key West.
Yeah, Tampa, Key West, and Nassau. That's where it's going.
Who'd have figured?
There's no question.
Tampa, Florida.
You
for
might want to
90s
quiz
cruise.
Adolfo a little more deeply off air about this hostile situation.
Now, what's worse, a hostel or a cruise?
Well, hostel's worse than everything, but hostel's like a prison.
Well, a cruise is a cruise is a prison on the water.
No, I think the cruise might be more personal. Like, you can't leave that boat.
You could lock yourself in your room, and you could take a dump alone.
How many days are you stuck on that boat?
I'm not stuck. I'm doing it by choice.
He's being compensated.
It's like 4 days, yeah.
All right.
Okay. It's gonna be. From people who've done it in the past, they said it's a really good time.
All right.
I would imagine there's not many duties that you have to do. Why do they even want you there? Is interesting. Like, why do they want Eddie Trunk on the metal cruise? Like, I don't understand. Like, the band plays. Just he introduced the band.
They want hosts to there's more than just
Like
the shows.
Q&As and stuff.
There's Q&As. They do a trivia night. They do a like 90s karaoke and
Probably want you to do social stuff.
Are
too,
Collective
I guess,
Soul on that cruise?
I think they were on the. Hold on a second.
Because Will Turpin was a very good friend of mine, despite him being in an
Are you gonna
awful
go?
band.
Are you, Fred? Are you going?
But I was going to say, Will Turpin's a great guy, and if you
Whoa. Just added. Okay, so the I think Collect Soul is on the last one. This one is TLC, Sugar Ray, Better Than Ezra, En Vogue, Tonic, Fuel, Smash Mouth, lead singer TBD, Kid and Play, Maxi Priest, EMF, Sponge, DJ Let Me Clear My Throat, Cool, and special musical host Robin Wilson of Gym Blossoms.
Oh, that you like that. There's a very urban vibe to this cruise.
Hosted
too.
by Downtown Julie Brown, Dave Holmes, Kat Corbett, Spider Harrison, Rob Hardy Poole, and DJ Travis Bell, DJ Miss Ninja.
You know what's good about both Julie Browns that were on MTV? They both serve their purpose to a young teenage Fred Dutcher.
Oh, I'll pass that along.
Yeah. Downtown Julie Brown is the African-American one. The redheaded Julie Brown I almost preferred. Isn't that strange?
Yes.
Isn't that strange? She was on a remote control, and between her and Kari Wuhrer, I needed a sling afterwards. I mean, that was a VHS special. That was a Freddie T.
Big
Taper-Rooney.
upgrade from Marisol. Big upgrade.
Oh, huge.
Big upgrade from
Marisol's
Marisol.
no good.
No
good. And nor was her replacement. Kari Wuhrer. And then when she was on 90210 and she'd had breast implants, it was almost too much to believe. You could see why David cheated on Donna.
Yep.
You know? You could see that. It was very believable. That was the great thing about 90210. Tiffany Amber Thiessen shows up breast implants. Kari Wuhrer shows up breast implants. Like, you just went, nah. Remember the first scene that Tiffany Amber Thiessen's on?
Yes, I
where
do.
She's in the bed.
Emerging from the bathroom. Yes, I'm very well aware
and
of that.
And you had no idea she had breast implants. And
No.
So like, when she first pops up, she's like another person.
How you do?
You're like, hello.
How you doing?
How are you?
Yeah.
Nice to see you. All right, so we will wrap this whole thing up in just a matter of moments. Here are the headlines.
CHIP programs in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-KIDS-NOW or go to insurekidsnow.gov. Boston plays here.
Pressure, half court, it's in the air. He got it! He did it again!
98.5, the Sports Hub.
Is elongating.
Weekday mornings.
Here goes Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
The Sports Hub. We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
You know, it's a good thing it's a Friday because when we were playing that Strahan interview with Belichick, I think I reached my saturation point. He just sort of disgusts me now. Like, just seeing him with that funeral makeup on and just answering those pap questions just made me not like him even more. So now I'm kind of sick of him. I didn't want that to happen.
I think you need a couple of days to recharge. I think Monday you'll be back to what else is going on.
If something else happens, I want to talk about it. But until that time,
What's
I
happened
need
to you
a break.
with TT Boy?
Well, no, TT, yeah. There's a point where it just gets sad.
Stay humble.
Boy, am I angry with Strahan. If I was the producer of that Good Morning America, you'd have to be furious, right?
And it's not like we were expecting like 10 minutes of no holds barred, Morley safe, or Mike Wallace going after him. But how about a couple of real questions?
Yeah, if
how about a
CBS
couple at
This
the end?
Morning can do it, because people have gone on Good Morning America and like faced Jane, or to the Today Show, same thing, and like Jane Pauley's like done an uncomfortable interview, and not that it's combative or negative, but there is the celebrities addressing things that maybe aren't comfortable.
Yeah, like Strahan can do it. If Savannah Guthrie can do it and ask real questions, then yeah, Michael Strahan can do it. And it's not like you're asking him to reveal state secrets. It's just what everybody's talking about. Before we get to the things that might be of interest to both Adam 12 and Adolfo this weekend.
All right.
There's something of interest to you this weekend, Fred.
Bim Scala Bim, who sent me a big laundry list of reasons why you should go to the show, including that they formed in 1986.
The lineup of something happening this weekend, Boardwalk Rock in Ocean City, Maryland, hosted by Eddie Trunk.
Oh, is Firehouse playing, or have they been racked with tragedy?
So you will now guess who is playing Boardwalk Rock. Do not look at my screen.
Faster Pussycat.
I don't see them there. No.
Saxon?
Stephen Piercy's Rat. Warrant without Jenny Lane.
Your headliners are Def Leppard and Rob Zombie.
Oh, so it's a real concert. Okay.
Okay. Some 90s artists in there. Would you care to guess?
90s artists?
90s rock artists. Think faux grunge.
Candlebox. Our Lady Peace are a good band.
No, even more faux than Candlebox.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Now you're putting me on the spot. Seether.
No, how dare you? They were New Rock. Bush. Chevelle, Flyleaf, Puddle of Mud.
Where's Nickelback in all of this?
Wow, Puddle of Mud still getting out there. That guy's been racked with tragedy.
Everclear, Trapped, who I thought were canceled.
Yeah, they're big like MAGA guys.
Kat Von D. Oh, Nickelback is there.
Oh, there you go.
Shinedown.
Hey.
3 Days Grace. Alice Cooper. Bret Michaels.
Oh, so it's like a real concert.
Yeah. Oh, Candlebox. Yeah. They're playing on Sunday. Night Ranger. Crossfade.
Night Ranger.
Crossfade.
Wow.
Dorothy. Blackstone Cherry. Lit. Fuel. Also playing the 90s cruise. Saliva. And Tim Montana.
Art Alexak is a big pretentious prick. I wonder if he's still that way now that he has been humbled. He came in with the guy from Van Wilder and really put on a show. He couldn't have been talked down more to me. It was fascinating. I was having a fine conversation with Cal Penn, and then he just kept talking down to me. And I'm like, you realize you're promoting the music of Van Wilder, and not even the original Van Wilder. This is a far away sequel to Van Wilder. Like, I don't know why you're acting like you've doing something at the Met.
I only had one interaction with him. He was nice to me.
Because
we were both-
Gavin
we-
Rosto was always very nice.
But
to
we
me.
were both DJs on Lithium at the time, Art and I.
Oh, so you were like equals.
We were colleagues.
You were colleagues.
All
at
right,
that point.
a convention going on this weekend. Now, this sounds legitimately interesting. The Boston Oddities and Curiosities Expo.
Oh, steampunk.
That's why Adolfo's here.
2-day event with vendors hawking antiques, taxidermied or otherwise preserved animals and plants, original art, outdated medical devices. David Sedaris would be all over this thing.
Yeah, these are things he finds on the road.
And all manner of other morbid ephemera.
This is, by the way, points for saying ephemera, right? I will tell you this.
It's at the Heinz Convention Center. How much?
Well, this reminds me of when Jonathan Davis from Korn took me on his personal tour of oddities.
Right.
He went on tour with a trailer full of oddities.
Sure.
Including John Wayne Gacy stuff. And he would look at me like, this is John Wayne Gacy's painting. And he would look at me like quickly. Like to see if I was like flipped out.
You know what? I might go to this weekend. How much does it cost to get in? Guess?
$30.
12?
Yeah, I would say 20.
Certainly out of his league.
$10 to $15.
Whoa! That's a bargain.
Now you're talking, yeah.
In.
That's a lot of cans.
How about a Boston Harbor Islands weekend? Hop aboard the ferry for... I just gave it away. Damn it. Free ride to Spectacle Island where you can explore the trails. It's a free ferry weekend.
Love the islands. I'm in.
Tickets are first come, first serve. Aren't available in advance, so you want to show up early. Box office opens at 8 a.m. both days.
What do you do at Spectacle Island, Dan? Have you ever been on
You
Spectacle
put your
Island?
spectacles on, you take a peek at things.
Have a look around.
At least he didn't go for the low-hanging fruit.
Exactly. It was right there.
Enjoy
It
your
was
weekend.
Right there.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't forget about Doughboys at the Wilbur. Brewplug.com. Tickets still available.
Thanks, Adolfo.
All right, Adolfo is going to be there. I am going to be at that Bim Scala Bim show. That is at the Paradise. They're local. And there you go.
Do you want to give a...
It's at Crystal Ballroom, I think George is saying in here. Did you double-check the venue on that? Might be the Crystal Ballroom in Somerville.
Adolfo, do you want to give a plug to the
It's a
hostel
fine room.
you're staying at to see if maybe they give you a free disposable toothbrush or anything?
I think they're okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No.
Yeah, they're doing all right.
Extra bar of soap?
You know, I brought my own bar of soap. Thank you very much.
Smart. Thinking ahead.
And they have some sort of like weird dispensary
Oh,
thing
yeah,
that I
yeah.
knocked over the other night. So I don't know.
Yeah. Wait, but it's at the Crystal Ballroom, but below is the link to Live at the Paradise 93.
Oh, that's what. Maybe they're promoting something.
All right, you guys figured that out.
Crystal Ballroom. They're at the Crystal Ballroom. And
You
thank
have
you.
yourself a good weekend.
Thank you for
gentlemen.
doing that.
Right.
Thank you to the caller that called and corrected.
Yeah,
us.
thank you. Bim Scala Bim. I got to actually do this. Just give me, you can leave if you want. Crystal Ballroom in Somerville. Crystal Ballroom in Somerville. I apologize, guys. Crystal Ballroom in Somerville. Thank you for correcting me before the end of the show. Adolfo, good luck on your endeavors. Hopefully you don't get shanked this evening as you
I kinda
share a
hope I
room with
do.
several men at your hostel. All right, that'll do it for us. Bye.
Have a weekend. Toucher and Hardy will be back on Monday on the